Welcome to the regular meeting of the Cape Coral City Council. Today is March 25th, 2026. This meeting now comes to order. Please stand for the invocation and pledge allegiance by Councilmember Long.
Mayor, we come here tonight to celebrate the beauty of this city and the beauty of the people who live here. We celebrate the fact that we have a government in which we have a voice, in which we can speak and make suggestions. We celebrate tonight a government in which we can elect our officials and are heard. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Gunter.
Here.
Council members Donnell.
Here.
Kaduke.
Here.
Kilrain.
Here.
Lastra.
Here.
Lehman.
Here.
Long.
Here.
Steinke.
Here.
All present.
Okay, item 5 is changes to the agenda. I do have one change I'd like to make is to move item 8D, which is the property valuations by Lee County Property Appraisal, to follow item 6, recognitions and achievements. I'd like to move that up in the agenda. That's the only change I have. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to withdraw item 8A2, which is Resolution 4226.
Motion to approve the agenda with the items identified as presented.
Second.
Hold on, we got Councilmember Long's.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, this is more of an inquiry about where I should place it. I just wanted, a couple of minutes to discuss or get clarification on an offer that the city received for some surplus property that we have. I don't know whether that's appropriate to bring up in my report at the end or whether, I guess I will seek advice from the city attorney as to where he thinks that we should fit that in, if it's the desire of council to spend 2 to 3 minutes just getting clarification on that.
Mr. City Attorney.
To wherever it is that if you all agree to put it on for discussion.
You want to put it under, where would you like to, you got a recommendation?
Yeah, it really doesn't matter as long as.
Follow-up items for council, because it sounds
That's
like
great.
it's, it sounds like it's
That's
something-
perfect. And again, it's not my intention to bog anybody's time down, just to.
All right, so we'll do that, follow-up items for council.
I so modify my motion to include that.
Second agree.
Okay, seeing no other lights on, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Donnell.
Aye.
Gunter.
Aye.
Kaduke.
Aye.
Kilrain.
Aye.
Lastra.
Aye.
Lehman. Long.
Aye.
Steinke.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, we will move on to item 6, recognitions. Tonight, we have the National Vietnam War Veterans Day observations or observances, I'm sorry. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to join me with the recognition of the National Vietnam War Veterans Day, which is our nation will observe this Sunday, March 29th. The day is dedicated to honoring the bravery, service, and sacrifice of those who served during one of the most challenging and complex periods in our history. To our Vietnam War veterans here in Cape Coral, we offer our deepest gratitude. Your courage and commitment to duty and the sacrifices that you made to our nation will never be forgotten. If there are any Vietnam War veterans here with us tonight, I ask you to please stand. Any Vietnam War veterans? Okay. Please join me in showing our sincere appreciation for everyone who served during the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War was profoundly shaped the lives of all of us and served, and everyone who served, both during their time in uniform and long after they returned home. Today, we honor not only your service, but also your resilience for our country. To pay tribute, we will now watch a brief video in recognition of Vietnam War veterans. Could you play the video, please, and dim the lights?
Mom, I don't want to die over here, but it is what it takes to make the world a better place for you and Dad and everyone to live. And giving my life won't be in vain.
If and when my time to go comes, I will go. I'll go because I know the meaning of the word freedom.
If you've never been there, you don't know what it is. You don't know how to explain it.
I look back on it often and realize that was probably one of the most important years of my life.
As we reflect on this chapter of history, let us also remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice and those who never returned home. In their honor, I ask you to please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please be seated. As we leave here today, I encourage each of you to take a moment to reach out to the Vietnam War veterans. Just a simple thank you or a handshake or a conversation can mean more than you could even imagine. Their stories are a vital part of our nation's history, and it is our responsibility to ensure that they are heard, remembered, and honored. And I've said this many times before, as we know, unfortunately, freedom isn't free, and many of our men and women in service paid that ultimate price. Okay, let's move on to the next recognition. Mr. City Manager, I believe you got a FGCU recognition that you wanted to do.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This time I'd like to introduce Dr. Robert Lee from FGCU to recognize an award.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Oh, I can face the audience?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry to turn my back on you all.
That's okay.
Probably not the first it's happened.
Yeah,
Right?
you're absolutely right there.
Actually, it's a real honor to be here at the City Council meeting, to be with the distinguished mayor, members of the City Council, City Manager, City Attorney, and City Clerk, and others who work so hard for the city. I know you have a very serious agenda, so I won't take up much time, but I am humbled by what I just saw in terms of video. And I appreciate very much the council making time to do things like this when I know they have a full agenda. So thank you all very much for doing that. In addition to being a professor at Florida Gulf Coast University, I also have the privilege of serving as a faculty advisor for what's called the International City and County Management Association's student chapter. And a long story short is basically it's a group of master's students who aspire to work in local government as a career. And they're students who interact with practicing city and county managers. And by the way, your city manager, Mike Ilchisson, there I got it right, has been a real advocate for us and has shown up to support the chapter and some symposiums we have every semester. So I appreciate that, Mr. City Manager. You also have, I need to acknowledge our current president of the chapter. And by the way, these are year-long positions, is an employee at the city of Cape Coral, Sean Naughton. By the way, Sean, I think he's a plan examiner and was just awarded the Be Hero Farmer Scholarship. It's the singular scholarship. This is only offered once a year by the Florida City and County Management Association. You have MPA students from all over the state, public and private universities, will use the recipient. One other final point, 10 years ago today, a gentleman by the name of William Corbett, who works for the city of Cape Coral, was the Be Hero Farmer Scholarship winner. So you have some real leaders here. My main reason for being here, though, is to acknowledge a past president. His name is Matt Grainbow, and I see him over here. I think this is a surprise for you. Typically, these folks serve 1 year as a president because there's a lot of turnover, obviously, in a master's program. Matt was willing to step up at my request for a second year. And one of the main things that they do is moderate a symposium, a half-day symposium with city and county managers. He's always done such a wonderful job doing that. He's an outstanding student, and more importantly, he's a man of great character. So with that, I wanted to formally recognize you, and I have a plaque if you want to come up. I think someone's going to take a picture of you.
Ready, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you very much. And I don't have to look up at people.
Congratulations there, Matt. I know you do a great job for us here at the city, so there's no doubt you do it elsewhere as well. Okay, item 7 is, before we get to item 7, we're going to move to item 8D, which is the property valuation by the Lee County Property Appraisal. I invited Mr. Caldwell to come and speak with us here to maybe give us a little insight on our assessed values coming up this next year, and maybe kind of help us in our budget discussions here in the future. So thank you, sir, for making the time and coming here tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for inviting me to come talk to you about this important topic. I know as you get ready to think about preparing your budget, you're going to need to navigate what I think anybody that's paying a little bit of attention is a more challenging period than we've experienced the last several years. A little bit of background to make sure we're all oriented on the same page. The tax roll that we all use in order to determine your budget, the county's budget, the school board budget. That entire tax roll is developed by our office at the property appraiser, and it's based upon January 1st. January 1st of each year is the date of value. So who owns the property, the condition of the property, and the character or use of the property is what determines the value. So the easy thing to think about is if the house is not complete before January 1st, it doesn't go on this year's roll. It'll go on the next year's roll, assuming it gets completed, just to orient in terms of what we're thinking about. So as you consider or digest the numbers as they roll out later this year, Just keep in mind, it's based on what the market conditions were on January 1st. And that can be a little challenging discussing with constituents, particularly if we go through periods of shifts both up and down pretty significantly at the latter point in the year, and then reminding them that the tax roll is based on January 1st, which at the time they get their tax bill is 11 months in the mirror. So just a little bit of basis point for that. In terms of the work product that we provide to you, the dates, again, for those who've been on council for a while, remember, we will produce our official early estimate on June 1st. That will give you kind of a top line number. It's the number that's developed for the taxing authorities to begin your budget planning process in earnest. And then we have to develop and produce our official estimate on July 1. And that's where you'll see a more refined number. Some years it changes substantially between the June 1st number for your purposes. Some years it does not. But in addition, that is when we'll start to push out value conclusions for the individual property owners as well, ultimately culminating in them receiving their trim notice in August after you've concluded your initial meeting at setting your maximum millage rate that you would consider. So that's timeline. And what does that mean in terms of me coming and talking to you today in March? What it means is we're halfway through our process of analyzing the market from last year. Again, thinking about that January 1st date of value, we spend these 6 months digging through, combing through all of the sales and lease transactions that we can track down that happened in the previous year throughout Lee County. As you can just think about it logically, that is relatively easier where you have a wide number of properties that are highly similar. So in your case, not surprising, you have an awful lot of single family homes on similarly sized lots with similar characteristics. So in the big picture, a vast majority of your tax roll is, I don't want to say simple because it's still very, very large, 250,000 parcels. It's a pretty big parcel count. But it gets more difficult, for example, say if you had a lot of Gulf front private estates. Those don't tend to sell every single year and don't tend to have similar features. So it is a little more difficult to give an early number to say Captiva or Sanibel or one of those jurisdictions. I take that as you will, whether this is good news or bad news. You could kind of read into that likely that what I'll share with you in terms of our early estimate probably won't change significantly between today and June 1st, because at this point we're able to run our automated models and push through. And so if you were to say drill down to an individual property, there still may be changes that would happen to where we're at in that analysis. But at scale, for a city that's overwhelmingly single family residential, you're going to have significant things that we have not accounted for yet, essentially, to change this. So what is the number for you to digest? The top line number, you'll recall, is the just value. That is the quote unquote market value. The difference between market value, is those of us that work in the real estate industry understand, and what just value means. A reminder, you are not allowed to be taxed on non-real estate consideration. Most transactions include a broker, for example. So we have to deduct the non-real estate portions of all of the transactions. That's what the just value will represent. Otherwise, it's the same thing that you understand. Arm's length transactions exposed to the market, typical in terms of all their other features. And that just value is showing a slight decline, somewhere between 2 and 3% year over year at the citywide. Now, what does that mean in terms of what determines your budget? Taxable value is at the end of that process. And so from that just value number, all of the properties that are not homesteaded, so your commercial properties and your rental properties, et cetera, they are subject to a 10% cap in terms of their year over year assessment. Well, if we've got a 3% decline, only those properties that are coming on the roll this year are coming into that. Then you have the balance of commercial properties that may have a cap differential between their just value and what they have built up over the years. The one thing you can know for certain is your assessed value can never be higher than the just. So at the moment that they hit each other, it will move down with the just if that is what happens. The vast majority, though, of your parcels are homesteaded. I don't have off the top of my head the number for Cape Coral, but at a countywide scale, we have about 550,000 real estate parcels. About 225,000 of those are homesteaded, so about half of our tax roll. And I think it'd be safe to say that the city of Cape Coral is probably a little bit higher as a percentage in terms of homestead properties. They have a different cap. You'll recall they have a 3% Save Our Homes cap, and then of course the additional 50,000 deduction that then gets to the taxable number. All of that to explain that while our just value is showing a small 2 to 3% decline, your taxable value currently is basically flat. What that means is you've got a number of properties that have a significant cap. They're going to continue to move up at either 3 or 10%, and as long as their assessment cap is still lower than the just value, they're going to grow. So that blended of new construction at whatever today's value is, first-year homeowners that were probably at the full just value last year, and so they would probably come down with the just value, blended with your 30-year homestead folks that have a significant cap, they're going to move up at their 3%, and then if you own a commercial property more than 10 years, you probably have a significant commercial cap as well, and they're going to go up at 10%. So you blend all that together, and that results in what we're seeing right now is essentially flat year over year. And obviously, as we head towards June, again, that number could change. We will continue to evaluate. We do have our current new construction number. Last year, you had, I think, 1.6 billion in new construction just value come onto the roll. This year, we're showing about 1 billion, so about down 600 million in terms of new construction just value new coming on. There might be a little bit more in that category because our folks still have to go through and clear all of last year's permits, whatever's hanging over. But I don't think I would expect an enormous change in that number, not at least at the level that would significantly shift the percentages I'm talking about. And so with that, available for questions, comments, thoughts.
Could you maybe tell us what we experienced last year, 7.some%?
Yeah, off the top of my head, I believe it was in the 6%, 6 to 7%, and that was pretty standard. Y'all were pretty close and in line with the county. And here again, more or less, the county right now is showing about a 2 to 3% gain in taxable. I would suspect that differential is, as we know, commercial is a small part of your asset class as a jurisdiction. Obviously, the county has a much larger commercial portion, and I think that's what's driving their slight difference to at this point. But yes, last year you guys were pretty much spot on with each other.
Thank you. Councilman McGilvery?
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Excellent overview. Just to reflect upon how this then relates to the upcoming total asset value. I think we're at 32.5 billion for our total cap last year.
Well, I'll pull up the spreadsheet.
If you just go through your numbers, you'll probably be up to 33.5, assuming the 1 billion net. So, and the basis on which that was done, I think, was 44.5% homestead, and that's whatever happens with the organic growth will be on top of that. Mm-hmm. So if we're going to get that organic growth of 1 billion, I think we'll probably end up at about 33.5. And is that pretty much correlate with what you're thinking?
Well, I don't know that'll be the case. It really depends on where we clock in. And so I had a similar conversation with the county a couple of weeks ago, and they asked what we had seen was the asset class that was the most challenged, shall we say, and apartments were the one. Okay. You have seen apartments, and the city has benefited from having a lot of new construction in the apartment sector. But if you followed that part of the market over the last 5 years, a number of them in the COVID boom sold at extremely competitive rates, cap rates as low as almost 3%, which is really unheard of. That investment dynamic has shifted, and we have seen several of those complexes trade at a loss to what they were acquired for 3-5 years ago.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Steinke.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. You mentioned it in there, but it was kind of in a rolling stream of information that you can. I'm hoping that maybe you could just isolate this one instance that last year we had a lot of questions about related to that, if you will, that built up Save Our Homes benefit that was there, that when our residents saw the value of their home, their just value decline some, but then they saw their actual taxable value increase, even though there was a decline in the value. And it all had to do with that, if you will, banked discount that was there. Could you just go over that just one more time in isolation so that they could understand why that happens?
Yeah, and this policy is called the recapture rule. It's a statutory part of the statutory formulation of how the caps work. I think a lot of folks operationally treat the caps as though they will never go up, quote unquote. And what it really is it smooths out all the high points. And so while the market can have these much larger ups and downs, you benefit from a much more predictable and steady 3 or 10% rate year over year. And as I said, the only time that then your assessed value is going to decrease is if the just value drops so significantly that it hits your assessment cap, and you will go down with it. You will never have an assessed value higher than your just value. The last time we saw that happen was 2009 and 10. And unsurprisingly, I'm sure that was the last time that recapture became an issue and a hot topic for public conversation. There was consideration in the legislature of eliminating recapture. They ultimately did not, and they left it in place. And so, as I described before, those homeowners that have significant cap savings, essentially, if you owned your property and had it homesteaded or received the automatic cap for non-homestead for more than 4 years, just thinking about the COVID boom and where prices went through the previous 4 years, then you probably will see your assessed value increase because you have a significant cap differential. If you bought your property in 24, 25, you're probably right against the just value, and you're going to move with your just value at this point.
Great. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Seeing no other questions, Matt, I appreciate you stopping by, updating us, and I know that'll be helpful in our upcoming budget discussions. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you all very much.
All right, let's move on to item 7, approval of the minutes. Do we have a motion regarding the minutes of the regular meeting of March 4th, 2026?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Item 8 is business. 8A is the consent agenda, and I will give council the opportunity to pull any items for discussion. Councilmember Donnell?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to pull item number 3 and item number 8.
Item number 2 was withdrawn by city manager. So are you sure that's, I heard you say 3.
Item 3 and item number 14. Apologies.
Oh,
3
14.
and 14.
All right. And Councilmember Kaduc.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 4, Resolution 61-26. Item number 8, Resolution 66-26. And item number 11, Resolution 71-26, please.
What was the last one?
Yeah, what was, I got 8. What was after?
11.
11, Resolution 71-26.
All right.
Motion to approve consent agenda accepting item 3, 4, 8, 11, and 14.
Second.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Donnell,
Aye.
Gunter,
Aye.
Paduk,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman, Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, move on to item number 3 under consent, which is Resolution 44-26. Councilmember Donnell, you pulled that item, so I'll give you the floor, sir.
I'm sorry, I get some interruption now here. Thank you. I could have, this is kind of pulled because I want to kind of walk through very quickly the purpose for this particular one and how it impacts us. But City Manager, you have someone that could come up to the podium quickly. Council, just bear with me for a second. And I want to go. So we got a packed house tonight. And there's a lot of conversation that has happened about the consent agenda and questions and transparency and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So This is for all of those, and I'm pretty sure, because I've talked to people that don't even know that this exists. So it's a good thing. Would you go to the city website? Let's just start from the beginning. On the city website that we always talk about, from here, would you walk us through how we get to tonight's agenda? This is for everyone.
Yes,
So
sir.
when you see us up here with these laptops, first thing I want you to go there and show how to get to the agenda.
Sure. Maureen Bice, Assistant to the City Manager. When you visit the city's website, capecoral.gov, you will get to the home page. And if you scroll down the home page, you'll find a button here that says Agendas and Minutes. If we click on that item and you scroll down, you'll find a listing of all the upcoming meetings.
Hold tight right there, all right?
Mhm.
Now, where a lot of people get confused on these meetings, if you see down here where it says agenda full packet, it's a PDF and then the HTML. Would you take it from there and continue?
Yes, I typically click here on the heading on the title of the meeting. That will bring up the meeting agenda. If we go to the meeting agenda, and if we'd like to use item number 3 in as example, you click on item number 3, which is Resolution 44-26. And over here to the right are backup items associated with this consent agenda item. The very first hyperlink is an agenda request form. This agenda request form is what staff develops and puts together for the city attorney's office to develop the resolution. But this agenda request form has a lot of information, much more information than the agenda itself. So when you click on this agenda request form, you can read all of the details of the background. There's some questions here about whether or not this item is in alignment with the city's strategic plan. If so, what elements of the strategic plan are relevant? It asks if this was part of a consultant's recommendation, if this consent agenda item is related to any previously approved master plan. There's a recommendation. The staff member, the source of additional information is identified. And then you go to the bottom and it talks about fiscal impact and funding sources. That will identify how the item is being funded. And there's also a very important question that says, will this action result in a budget amendment? And you'll see a yes or no there.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, thank you, counsel. The whole purpose of that, when I was meeting with individuals, they're like, oh, it was just revelatory, because that's what we do behind the scenes. And then we get to ask questions and read even further into the packet. So every question, as I look back, the people that come and ask the questions, it's right there and it's available for the public the Thursday before the Wednesday meeting. So what people that that when you hear whatever you hear, well, you just hear it. But that's at your disposal, and that's what we do. So I just want you to be aware of that. With that being said, I'd like the motion to approve item number 3.
Second.
And just to reflect, that's Resolution 44-26, and I have one later on, Councilmember Kaduka.
Thank you, Mayor. So thank you for walking us through that, Councilmember Donnell. However, I do have a question for staff. Is just to confirm, this is solely covered through insurance and auction proceeds. Is that correct?
Team and Grant Public Works, that's correct.
So no reserves will be used. We're not pulling money from the money trees in the basement.
No, this would just allow us to use insurance and auction proceeds up to $350,000 to cover replacement vehicles for this fiscal year.
So are we writing a blank check to you guys for $350,000?
No, do you want to?
AJ Forbes, fleet manager of the city. No, what happens is when insurance come in, it goes into the account of that department, and they don't ever cover because we have a $5,000 deductible. And so we need that to replace the total car. And then the auction proceeds help cover the $5,000 or whatever to get that car. So we only replacing one for one. There's no ad news or anything like that. It's just total vehicles.
Awesome. Thank you for the clarification.
All right. Seeing none, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Donnell. Aye. Gunter.
Aye.
Kaduka.
Aye.
Kilrain.
Aye.
Lastra.
Aye.
Lehman. Aye. Long.
Aye.
Steinke.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, move on to item Resolution 61-26. Councilmember Kaduka, I believe you pulled this item.
I did. Thank you, Mayor. So I pulled this item because first of all, let me start off with, I support it. However, the backup material states that there's no fiscal impact to the city. So I wanted to know, how many lots do we currently have in inventory? Can someone please confirm that?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. Dawn Andrews with the Real Estate Division. When you say inventory, you mean how many lots does the
For
city
owls.
own? Oh, for the owls.
Mhm.
Okay, so with this purchase, this would be our 13th purchase.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
Yes, we've purchased 12 already.
Thank you so much. And then also, we learned in our last city council meeting that these lots actually do cost us. So when it says that, that may be true for this particular resolution that it's not costing us. However, we learned that we have mowing and hand mowing that needs to be covered. So I, of course, will support this and I will make a motion to support it. However, this is covered through an FWC grant. Is there a way that we can search for an operational FWC grant so that we can continue to operate without it costing us? It be fiscally responsible with taking on more owl lots, and then we're still mowing them and hand mowing them. And I think it was Wanda last time had mentioned, 2 owls then turns into 6 owls, and now we're hand mowing even more little burrows. So I think it would be very smart of us to ask FWC for a grant to actually keep it going.
Absolutely. We can get with the FWC grant coordinator for this program and see if they, now that, remember, this program was specifically created for Cape Coral, so this was like a first of its kind. We could see now that we've executed a purchase last year, if they would be willing now to take a piece of that
grant.
for operations and maintenance. We can look into that and let you all know.
Thank you. And if there's no other lights, I will make a motion to approve resolution 61-26.
Second. Councilmember Long?
Is this the owls?
Yes.
I have I guess an inquiry with regards to some of the backup material that I think Ms. Andrews probably could help with. Can we have someone pull up the agenda on there for the property appraiser sheet, the backup items?
I can put it on the overhead.
That'd be great.
So you want the overhead for this subject property?
So there's 2
Being
pages in
purchased?
my backups. You guys have on the agenda labeled as PA sheet, which is
Right.
the property appraisal, the information page.
Oh, there it goes. Oh.
The next one, please. Ooh,
So tell me what you're
that's a
looking
little different than the
for.
one I've got. So I show the $16,000 sale that you had, that page there identified, and then there's another one in December of the same year for $33,000. There it is. So what was the other page?
So the property had sold. We started speaking with the original owner, which was a James McCabe. And they had contacted FWC. There was a partnership, and then they ended up selling the property to this.
Okay, well, yep, just if you could go back to that other page real quick. I don't even need so, and you know more, and this isn't an accusation, this is just me trying to gain knowledge here, your thing being real estate. I see here that we're looking to pay, and I understand that's with assessments and everything else, what is it? $47,000. But then I see here that twice within the last 6 months, less than that, the property's changed hands or at least sold. At one point in time for $16,000, and then again a couple months later for $33,000, and now here we are. I guess just how did we get there? Just seems odd.
So I have an appraisal. We had the property appraised. I had an appraisal completed by an outside independent appraiser, and the market value of the property was identified as $42,000. Two of the comparables that were used also sold with owls on the property. So we offered $35,000 for the property. They wanted 40. We settled at 37
37 plus 8,000 for the outstanding
to
balance.
pay off the
So-
assessments in full. Yes, sir.
Okay, I mean, that's just, obviously you guys sub out the appraiser and I get that, and they're not here to have me ask, what I think is a pretty logical question, but I hesitate when I see that the property's changed twice in the last 6 months in a down economy for, at one point, about 70% less than what we're paying. And then again, 3 months later, which is now 3 months prior, for another 15,000 less than what we're paying. So just a question. I was hoping to get an answer, but I understand that your answer is talk to the other guy that we. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for Resolution 61-26. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Donnell.
Aye.
Gunter.
Aye.
Kaduke. Aye. Kilrain.
Aye.
Lastra.
Aye.
Lehman. Long.
No.
Steinke.
Aye.
7 ayes, 1 nay, motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 8 on the consent agenda, which is Resolution 66-26. Councilmember Kaduke, I believe you pulled this item.
I did. Thank you, Mayor. So I pulled this item because our backup material states that at 60% design, the construction cost estimate significantly exceeded the project's allocated budget. So I just want to know how we got here.
So the initial budget was created in fiscal year, Bill Corbett, Public Works. The initial budget was created back in 2023, estimated at $11 million based on the planning level estimates using the FDOT cost per mile models. It was recognized that that increased in 24, so our budget was increased to 14 million. And then it subsequently increased again, and we budgeted for a total of 17.5 million. There were unknowns during the project, including the extension through a critical wetland area. We needed to mitigate those wetlands. There was an intersection control evaluation, an ICE, completed at the northern terminus of the project, which identified the need for enhanced traffic control, which is a roundabout. Those plus the costs, the unknown costs of the wetland mitigation drove that cost higher to around 22.5, 23 million. Based on those cost estimates, we recognized that that was cost prohibitive. We worked with our consultants to reduce the cross section of that roadway to drop costs, and we now are approximately $18.5 million.
So we're spending $302,275.90 for a D scope.
For a redesign from 60%. So I wouldn't say de-scope.
Okay.
You're removing lanes of the road. That doesn't mean you're changing their design effort. They still need to design that. So because we are doing less, it still takes the same design effort. So they designed up to almost to the 30% mark at a 4-lane roadway, transitioning to 60%. We recognize the cost prohibitive nature of the design, and we reduced that down to a 2-lane section and a certain piece of it, made some adjustments on street lighting in order to get those costs down.
Thank you. And I want to thank staff for recognizing that at 60% design that we realized we would be over budget. So with that being said, Mr. City Manager, I guess, and this has nothing to do with this resolution, how did we get here for the yacht club? I mean, we knew we were going to be way over budget, and now we're de-scoping that. So that's all I have for this one. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other lights on, I'll entertain a motion for Resolution 66-26.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Seeing no lights on, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Donnell.
Aye.
Gunter.
Aye.
Kaduke.
Aye.
Kilrain.
Aye.
Lastra.
Aye.
Lehman. Long.
Aye.
Steinke.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, move on to item 11, Resolution 71-26. Councilmember Kaduke, I believe you pulled this item.
I did. Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I support this park. It is in my district, and we are severely lacking in everything in my district: parks, infrastructure, buildings, everything. So I do have a question. In our adopted budget book, it does show on page 359 that we budgeted $315,000, but then this is showing 434,800. So I'm just wondering like how and why and where are we pulling this from? If anyone could answer that for me.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council members, John Osterstock, Facility Projects Manager. So we spent a significant amount of time negotiating this contract with the designer, and we actually were able to whittle it down to the number it's at right now. It does include a significant amount of time for them to provide construction administration services, reviewing submittals and RFIs and whatnot. So it isn't just for the design, it also includes some of that construction phase.
Okay, so if the design is exceeding the budget, will the build exceed the budget?
We feel comfortable that with the kind of simplicity of this park, that we're not going to have any issues with scope creep, and we'll be able to maintain and stay under budget.
Okay, thank you.
I got a quick question. Good. If you would stay there, sir. Could you explain the 434,800, just so everybody understands? Is that just for the design, or is that for the design and the construction?
It's just for this is just for a design contract. Yes.
And what is the anticipated construction cost?
Typically, you're looking at around $3.5 million for this one. It's usually you would try to stay about 10%, so that's why we're a little bit over that budget number of 315.
So between the two, close to about $4 million.
Correct.
And the reason that I asked that question is, as much as I'd like to see us continue to expand our park system. We just heard our property appraisal tonight stating that, our financial outcome when it comes to our ad valorem tax is probably going to be substantially down this year. And we also have the yacht club that we still haven't even identified how exactly we're going to pay for the yacht club. So for me, I will not be supporting this tonight solely because I think that here we're looking at, almost $4 million. And we still haven't even finished that last Go Bond project. And I think I've made a comment before that I wouldn't support any future parks until we identified what we were going to do with the yacht club. And I still believe that. So for me, I don't want to design something and then it has to sit on a shelf. Not to mention our state legislation this year. What the big elephant in the room is we could be substantially impacted by revenue. If something goes on the ballot, unfortunately, we approve our budget in September, that begins October 1st. And even if something goes on the ballot in November, we're not really going to know exactly what that is. So for me, I prefer to be a little more hesitant until some of these factors are identified, especially when it comes to our ad valorem tax. So that's where I'm at with this particular project. We have a lot of great parks in the community now. I am pro parks. I'd like to see us expand even more. But because of the ad valorem tax in our general fund, our outlook, and that's how we pay for our parks projects is through our general fund. I think we need to pause until we can decide exactly what's going to happen, not only through our legislation, but our ad valorem tax as well. So that's my position on it. Councilmember Cadut.
Thank you, Mayor. So what is the source of funds for a park like this? We have, 87 different money trees.
This neighborhood park will be funded by park impact fees.
Which is later on our agenda, right?
Yes.
So for that reason, I will be supporting it. Thank you.
Councilmember Laster.
Thank you, Mayor. So Crystal, when you say the park fees, it's a new park, so it's new impact fees, correct? So this will be later in our agenda when we talk about the 12.5% over the next 4 years, it increases. And this is a new park. And the difference, let's say, between this and I'm looking at you, Mr. City Manager, but between this and let's say the yacht club is, we won't be able to use new impact fees for the yacht club because the yacht club, we're not expanding it. If we were to purchase a piece of property next door to it, or I don't know, build out and make the park, the imprint actually bigger, we can't use new impact fees for the yacht club. So that's the difference, correct? Okay, it's just
That is
clarifying.
correct. Impact fees are for capacity enhancements.
Capacity enhancements, not for maintenance, not for updates, not for any of that. So that's how this park in Councilmember Caduceus district will be paid for, because it is a new park and we will get new for this new park. All right, just clarifying. Thank you, Mayor.
And if I could just add, this is already a budgeted project, and so it's already budgeted with using our existing impact fees.
You know what that balance is and our park impact fees?
I don't, not in front of me. Not the fund balance. I don't have it, but I can get it for you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Councilmember Kilwin.
Yeah, just another question about the impact fee generated for this park. Impact fees for new park development are done at large. And specifically, when we do a new park, we're developing for that park. They're not universally covering the full cost of that park, are they? They're put into a reserve fund. That fund is drawn upon for future parks. So
Correct.
to the extent that we'll have impact fees to cover the full cost of this, incrementally on top of that reserve, is that a correct statement? Will the new impact fees to be levied around this park cover the full cost of this park?
This park will be paid with existing impact fees, so already collected.
And will the amount contributed as a result of this park coming on stream be enough to cover it into the future?
So the impact fees will cover the construction of the park, not future maintenance of the park. I hope that answers your
Okay,
question.
so incrementally, this will be a cost to us no matter what, even though we have impact fees to defer some of those costs. We'll be pulling out a reserve with other funds that we go to parks for maintenance and other things.
This is a neighborhood park, so if it generated program revenues, then that would be used for covering the operations of it. But I don't believe that that's the case with this particular park, because it is
Okay.
just a neighborhood park.
Okay, so this will be an incremental cost coming out of general fund then?
Yes.
In addition to the impact fees. So based on that and based on the current conditions that we have foreseen into the budget, I'm not gonna support this. Thank you.
Councilmember Steinke.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask the question a different way, maybe. The impact fees are used to pay for things caused by the impact of growth.
Correct.
Did we hear you correctly to say that the growth that has occurred, that the impact fees have been collected from, are sitting in an account to pay for this park? That's needed by those that built the homes and paid the impact fees.
Correct.
If that's the case, then I'll support it.
Just one last question for me. And I know you said you didn't know the amount for what the balance was in the park impact fees, but we're approving the 434,800, which is the design. But when would that come back to us? You said it was already budgeted. So was the design budgeted in FY26, or was the design and the construction budgeted for FY26?
I will get to it. I know for sure the design. Do you guys? I believe the construction is fiscal year 27, but I get right back to it.
And that would make sense if we did the design this year,
Have it.
and budget it next year. That's typically how we do a lot of our projects.
Actually, all right, so we did budget all of it for this fiscal year. Obviously, with timing, the construction most likely will not be done this year, so we will carry that forward to the next year. But it is budgeted all this year.
All right, thank you. Seeing no other lights on, motion in a second, was there a motion? No, I'll entertain a motion for
Motion to
Resolution
approve Resolution
71-26.
71-26.
Second.
Seeing no other lights on, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Donnell,
Aye.
Gunter,
Aye.
Paduk,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman, Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, we'll move on to Resolution 73-26.
75.
I'm sorry, 75-26, and Councilmember Donnell, you pulled that item?
Yeah, and then the last part of the piece that, and everyone talked about, you see us talking about the money. On this one right here, the source you see is a grant. Now, understanding that this doesn't cover the entirety of what's going to happen, but any money is money that's off of the package of the residents, and we're putting this in, and it's going to come back with that full number adjusted with this grant. Is that a correct statement?
Bill Corbett, Public Works, that is correct. The savings from this grant will be applied to the assessed stormwater, or non-assessed and/or assessed stormwater costs from the UEP project. And that is not just Contract 7, that would go through the entire project. It would be spread across the entire project.
All right. So thank you for that. And again, I cannot emphasize enough that these are the questions that the 8 of us up here, I can only assume because we can't sunshine, but we're pressing on this. But the beauty of it is when we start this process about going over the budget, the departments come to us based on our strategic plan and we approve a budget. So when you see these items, they have been approved, they've been vetted. We've talked about it for a whole year. So you all say, oh my gosh, they're just $1 million, $1 million. That's not anywhere true. And you have access to the environment. You'll have your time later.
Please, no speaking.
So that kind of drowns out the actual facts and the data. That's why I'm employing you tonight to look at it for yourself, and then let's have a conversation. You come to your own conclusion. With that being said, motion to approve Resolution 75-26.
Second.
Seeing no other discussion, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Donnell,
Aye.
Gunter,
Aye.
Paduk,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman, Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, item 8B is appointments to boards and committees. Received a letter from Florida League of Cities regarding top 10 cities as far as being on the board of directors. We will also probably in May have another one in reference to Florida League of City appointments. This particular board seat is typically needs to be submitted to the Florida League of Cities next year, so it'll be considered in the annual conference. And again, we'll get some other ones that are due in May. But for this particular seat here is, again, I've held this seat for several years now, but our council has to submit an appointment, and that's why we're here today to the Florida League of Cities. So with that, I'll open up for discussion.
I'd like to appoint the mayor for, again, to represent us in the position.
Seeing Councilmember Steinke?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I had a quick question. When you said we'll get one again in May, what does that?
There's some other, there's another one for the top 10 cities as far as it's a coalition board. That particular, this here is for the board of directors. And then we'll have another one where the top 10, typically it's the mayors get together. It's a coalition board, they call it. And so that's a different board.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Donnell,
Aye.
Gunter,
Aye.
Paduk,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman, Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, thank you. Just also to elaborate a little more on Councilmember Steinke, we also have board of directors for the Florida League of Mayors. And that's the other one that will also be brought back probably in May. So just, that's the other one as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Item 8C is unfinished business. C1 is follow-up items for council. Councilmember Long wanted to add item underneath it here, so I'll give you the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, and I appreciate you guys giving me the time here. I'll be brief. I just wanted to, I guess, quick overview for, you all know this, but for the residents, just to kind of get a background on the discussion here we're about to have. The city owns real property throughout the city. In certain circumstances, we get offers from individuals, entities, corporations to buy these properties. For many years in the past, I guess it was the policy, or there was no policy, that the practice, so to speak, that these people that were putting these offers into the city would place the offers with the city manager's office. And there was no policy in place with regards to any obligations of the city manager to forward those offers to council. So this council, within the last couple of years, I think, brought forth a ordinance change to more or less mandate that all offers for city-owned real property were forwarded from the city manager's office to council. There's a couple different requirements with regards to that, but there's an exclusion for offers that choose to remain confidential. And I guess for one reason or another, on March 13th, we got a notification from the city attorney that we did receive an offer, and apparently they requested to remain confidential, but there was, at least to me, some ambiguity as to whether or not they met that criteria. I requested some clarification from the city attorney's office and have not yet received that. So I was hoping that he could give us a little bit of that clarification today.
This is a notice provision to you all. As part of the notice provision, I am not required to legally determine the validity or the viability of the confidentiality provision, but I do have an obligation by Florida law to protect you all. And by that, I mean that these are confidentiality provisions that do have a force of law in effect. Specifically, while I did intimate, and I did state in that email to you all, that section 288.075 was not specifically followed, that does not mean it does not apply. I would have liked to have seen something a little bit more specific in regards to invoking that provision of state law. But more importantly, when this was adopted by you all, it also made reference to or some other law. That some other law exists as of right now pursuant to section 542.335. And when that is invoked, that pertains to specifically what is called a no-shop clause. A no-shop clause has been interpreted and upheld by some courts to find in some instances, and I'm not saying it's this one, but in some instances, there's a confidential provision that can function as a no-shop clause supported by a court, which means that if I were to reveal that specific information, it could be potentially shopped around to somebody else. Now, in reference to the language of our ordinance and recognizing that I have an obligation to ensure that there is a level of protection, I then proceeded to go on to the last provision of the ordinance, which states, in the event a buyer requests confidentiality, which they have, the offer will be communicated to council members individually. As you all know, over the last at least 3 days, that was communicated to you all individually, with the exception of Councilmember Long. I think I attempted to do that. So with that notion, that is the circumstances by way of which we are here today.
Okay, so it was always your position that they met that criteria with regards to confidentiality, pursuant to any law that exists in the land.
It was my position that I had an obligation to ensure that I did not violate the potential confidentiality of it to expose the city to a potential injunction lawsuit.
So it's gray at best, and you're erring on the side of caution. I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but is that a fair assumption?
I am cautiously proceeding to provide you the best legal counsel. And if there is a requirement for the individual to be council member to be notified, then that is exactly what I apply to ensure that all of you all are protected, and I protect the city manager from potentially violating not only statutory law, case law, and our own ordinance.
Okay, and I wish, number one, that I would have received that information, but I guess the whole reason we're here is that in that email, section 2.11 of the code expressly mandates that all offers delivered to the city to purchase real property, blah, 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 will be communicated to the city manager or designated the city council, unless, which is the subject matter here, the proposed purchaser has requested, and these are your words, has requested confidentiality pursuant to section, and it really doesn't matter. With that said, and again, these are your words, Proposed purchaser's LOI does not strictly comply with the city's requirements for confidentiality pursuant to our code. However, we're going to give them that confidentiality anyways. That part I paraphrased. I can read it if you want, but I don't bill by the hour.
The letter of intent made reference to a specific corporation and potentially an assignment, while there is specific language within 288 that talks about the confidentiality of locate, relocate, or expand. There is clearly an interest to acquire property. Would I have loved for them to use those buzzwords? Absolutely. Did they use those buzzwords? No, they did not. But I am certainly not going to put the city in an adverse legal position by releasing that. But more importantly, there is a reason why, or some other law. And there is some other law that is in place that controls this matter. And we're having this conversation where at least 7 of you all members have in fact been apprised individually of what specifically was contained in that LOI.
Yeah, I want to be clear. You did in fact reach out to me to provide that information. It's my desire, and it's, in the sense of transparency, that information is just simply sent to my email, as almost everything else in the government is. And so that's where I have this hesitation. Is transparency to me is the crux of government, and I'm not saying that you're violating that transparency, but in an instance to me that's objectively clear on its face that at best. And I don't have the time or desire to argue that, but that's using the term loosely. At best, it maybe has some semblance of validity with regards to the confidentiality. I would prefer that we erred on the side of transparency rather than granting confidentiality to an individual that we'd have to spend an extensive amount of resources in our time to.
And I want to be very clear, nowhere within 2-155G does it authorize or you make reference that the offer itself shall be provided to the council. What it does say is the city manager, either in writing, it does not say that the offer shall be forwarded. If there was an interest to have that level of clarity, I will be more than happy to redraft this all to provide clear guidance that when an offer is received, that offer is formally provided to the mayor and city council within 10 days. But it does not say that. It says in writing. It does not say that the offer shall be forwarded to the mayor and city council. So the city manager, and I'm not speaking on his behalf or what he has done, has the ability to provide that offer, communicate it in writing, but it's not legally required under this ordinance to provide the actual offer to you all.
That's fine. I guess my gripe, just to summarize it, my gripe is that we finally thought we had fixed the issue where these offers were going to be mandated to be brought forth to us. And yeah, you called us. But I, the whole point originally, and I'm sure the intent of the council at the time was the offers were brought forward. Now, here we are, the very first instance to my knowledge that we've actually applied this or received an offer, and surprise, we're not able to utilize the intent of our original desire to have these offers conveyed to us, at least in writing. And that's not your fault. You weren't here when that happened.
Well, I think it was my second month here, but I have no problem in redrafting this to provide a level of clarity that will provide no ambiguity or potential doubt. If you all want me to do that, I have no problem doing that.
And again, just real quick, last point, my original gripe with this property is I just found it awfully interesting that the city initiated a flume change on the property that this council approved like 2 weeks ago. Now all of a sudden we have an offer to purchase it, and then to add what's more, we have a confidential offer that we're somehow using our legal staff to fight their defense for confidentiality when it's my opinion, at least, for whatever that's worth, that doesn't exist. So I wanted to put that on the record, and it has been. I appreciate the time, Mayor.
Councilmember Dono.
Yeah. Have you ever been sitting in a room and people are talking, you have no idea what they're saying, but you just nod your head to make yourself intelligent? I have no idea. See, this is why we pay him the big bucks and why we have the big bucks, Councilmember Long, because they're two lawyers. I have no idea what you guys just said, but I think if I heard Councilmember Long, and I don't mean to make light of a very important point about transparency, and what I think I heard you say was that we are following the ordinance. So it seems like this is one of those cases where both things can be true. But I don't know, Councilmember Long, because we're peers. Are you suggesting we need to change something? But I think it sounds like to me that we're on the same page. It's just you guys are, I have no idea what's going on. So help me.
That's fine. We don't need to go into a discussion about changing the ordinance. If we're going to apply it that way, then sure, we could have that discussion later on. But I just, I had a qualm with the way that we were interpreting it. But again, I'm not the city attorney and we have one. And if it's his position that, despite his original email saying that they don't comply with the requirements of confidentiality, that we should grant it to them anyways, then that's what we pay him to do.
Sir, thank you. That's all, Mayor.
Councilmember Kilrain.
Yeah, I love legal dueling. These guys are great at it, so thank you. But just in support of our city attorney, he individually, well, I know he did with me, and we thoroughly discussed this. And in my view, his primary responsibility is to properly interpret the law and to then make a recommendation in a manner which provides enough protection so that the city is protected going forward. I appreciate you that you did that. I don't think that it's stepping on any transparency out there. I think that it was well communicated with each of us. I know that there are difficulties in reaching Councilman Long, and that's neither here nor there. But the point is, you followed your basic responsibilities, and I thank you for that. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Councilmember Steinke.
Thank you, Mayor. I too attest to the fact that this was brought to me personally, reviewed. I had several questions and some thoughts that were answered and expressed and received. And so I think for me, we did what we needed to do for me. But my comment really relates more to the fact that we have a pre-platted community of which we have not a lot of control of what happens to a lot of the property here. There has been discussions around the number of parcels that we do own as a city. And that, boy, if we were able to liquidate those, it would bring an awful lot of money into the coffers to pay for a lot of things that all of us want paid for. We have to be, in my opinion, very careful with how other potential buyers of property see how their offers to buy it are handled. And there are many entities, companies that they look to buy properties, but for a lot of different reasons, they don't want to spill the beans or display all their cards until they know that they are going to get the price and terms that they want for the property. That's the whole reason for a letter of intent to begin with, and then a formal offer to be brought forward. And if word out there gets to the fact that we can't expect confidentiality when we're trying to work a property deal with the city of Cape Coral, we can kiss the ability to sell these properties away to many entities if the feeling becomes they can't trust the city to keep it confidential until they're ready to expose who they are based on their competition and a variety of other things. So in the material that was gone over with me in my meeting with staff this week, I saw in writing them request for confidentiality. And so for all the reasons I just stated, we need to give them that confidentiality. And if we want them to use a few buzzwords like city attorney said, well then fine, we give them a call and say, hey, before we accept this LOI, we need you to reword it this way or that way or however, whatever. But we got to be careful with how entities that would look to purchase our properties look upon us as to how we deal with their desire to become a part of our communities. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Long.
Yeah, I guess on that last point, you can ask for whatever the hell you want to ask for, but if you ask for confidentiality and our code doesn't provide for it, then I don't know why we would do it, again, in the sake of transparency. And then last point, apparently it went over some heads where I missed the mark based on the last two responses saying, well, they called me and told me that was my problem. My problem was they wanted to call me and tell me rather than putting it in writing in my email. That's my problem. And so that's why there's some perception that they were unable to reach me. They were not unable to reach me. I did not want to receive that information privately over the phone. I would prefer, again, in the sake of transparency, that it was in my inbox, and we continue to, refuse to do that. So that was my issue. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, let's move on to follow-up items.
Do we have a motion?
There's no
Okay,
motion, it was
okay,
just a discussion. Follow-up items for city management, none listed. Move on to resolution 70-6, and I'll turn this over to city manager.
Are you on to 7026?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to, you put this one on new unfinished business. And so just so that it is clear, following the last discussion where several of you were unsure about the ability to raise the funds, I had said that in trying to find a solution that I could get a check and not cash it. Essentially, that's what we've done, but we went a little bit further than that. We entered into an escrow agreement with the donor who was willing to backstop the project. And that donor has wired the balance of the funds that are needed to pay for this contract. The city has those funds in our account. And what we were going to continue to do is fundraise through July 4th. And each month, as we continue to raise funds, whatever we raise in the previous month, we will reduce the amount held in escrow. And at either the point where we've raised 100% of the 420, we'll release the balance, or at the very end on July 5th, we will draw whatever balance is left to pay off the contract. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. With that, I'll entertain a motion for resolution 70-26.
Motion to approve.
Any other council discussion? Councilmember Kaduc?
Thank you, Mayor. So I still am struggling with this. I'm very appreciative that we have a donor to backstop the project. However, we were very clear that taxpayer dollars should not be used for this project. And we know that the initial construction may be covered through donations, but it is going to come with an ongoing cost. We have maintenance, upkeep, year after year, forever. As the elected officials, we are elected to set the vision and priorities for our city. This came from the city manager. It didn't come from one of us. So I do have an issue with that. I know I spoke often in my campaign about infrastructure and fiscal responsibility and investing in projects that serve our residents in tangible, lasting ways. I don't believe that this is that. So for that reason, I will not be supporting this.
No applause, please. No applause. Councilmember Lastra.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. City Manager, there seems to be a lot of confusion regarding the maintenance. So the way that I understood it is that, so we have individuals, businesses, residents who donate medians, for example. I see a lot of those really in the Southwest area. They have a plaque, this business median donated by this business. We, the city taxpayers, we're the ones that are paying for the maintenance on those, correct?
Yes, and in previous discussions, what I've said is even if somebody donates a $200 tree, once that tree is planted in the ground, we are maintaining that tree, which means we're fertilizing it, we're trimming it, we're watering it, all the costs associated with that tree. Probably in the first 2 years, we've already paid more than $200 for that tree.
Okay.
But then we own it for 70.
Okay, and there also seems to be some confusion among, I know myself and others that I sit with up here in terms of what the actual maintenance costs are estimated to be. I know that you sent out an email that we shared with the public, some members of the public that stated we're looking at around $16,000. Can you tell us what the annual maintenance would be on this, including the price of flags and how many we'll have to have?
Yeah, so I mean, that's understandable. Early on when I was tasked with doing the fundraising, some of the initial things I had to do was put together what would be an operating budget, thereafter. And so what I did with the project manager was go on the website, look at what flags cost publicly available on the website, put together some costs based on things that we had heard from other monumental flag pole companies that say you need a halyard every couple of years, you need a light replaced, estimate between X and Y. So early on, as was discussed, and I know I had said that we were looking at 2 flags that were publicly available on the website for 20,000. And then there was some costs every other year for the halyard. There were costs involved for the electric. So that was the initial estimates. Since then, we've been able to, I've actually gone to the Clearwater Harley-Davidson Barracuda Harley that has the 204 foot flag that is the tallest in the state today. And so we've had a discussion with them of exactly what are the maintenance costs that need to be, budgeted for. And so in our contract, we have the purchase of 2 flags. They state that they have, their flag went up in 22. And right now, from 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26, they have 5 flags in inventory. Basically, they have one that's up, one that's on the shelf, and then at any given time, the manufacturer who makes the flags will repair them for free. And so all you have to do is send it back to them. They repair it, and you pay for the shipping. Said it was about $300 for the shipping to go from here to Texas. So once you have the flags, you can use them for numerous years. They have their flags from 2022. They're just getting, at some point, they'll have to phase one out. They budgeted 1 flag a year since their original 2. That's how they've gotten to the quantity they have now. The flags are not 20,000. 20,000 is the cost if you need buy now, ship now. If you order and allow them time to manufacture them and ship them and fit it in the year, the flags are only 14,000. So we have 2 of them that are in our contract. And so we are looking at, they also said that their highest expense that they've incurred in the 4 years that they've had up was when their halyard broke. And that was about a $1,500 expense. And then the lighting is LED lights. The cost is very cheap. So we are anticipating between 15 and 16,000 run costs for the flagpole.
And that will be paid no different than medians through the general fund?
As of right now, that would be how we would handle it. I have been in communications with different restaurants we are going to be planning a Memorial Day fundraiser. And if we are able to do that annually, then we will not need to worry about this. But I cannot say that definitively now because we haven't even done the first one. So right now it will be handled just as any other tree, any other bench, anything that anybody donate, a boat, a building, anything that anybody donates to the city, that becomes an asset of the cities and we have to then maintain it.
Okay. And then just to clarify, in terms of the CRA, this park is not considered in the CRA, correct? So in other words, we wouldn't be able to use CRA tax money to assist with the maintenance,
Correct.
even though the majority of businesses downtown are going to benefit from visitors seeing this flag, correct? In other words, CRA money is designated only for items
It has to be inside the district.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Stankey?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. City Manager, and you've been around a long time. I know we currently have a flag on or about where this flag will be, don't we? Do you have any idea how long it's been there?
No, I don't.
20 years? 30 years?
More likely than that.
Okay. In that amount of time, how many complaints have we gotten in regard to maintaining that flag?
I'm not aware of any complaint about any flag maintenance, and we have hundreds throughout the city.
So we already have a flag there that we're maintaining. So we're just going to maintain a different flag.
It's going to be maintained like every other flagpole.
Hundreds of flags in the city that we maintain. So with the thought that we're already maintaining a flag there, and we're going to have a very unique and special flag there commemorating our 250th, and the fact that I personally have already made a substantial personal donation, I'll be supporting 7026. Thank you.
Councilmember Lehman?
Yeah, I just want to clarify something for the public. The reason this is here as a resolution, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that in order to maintain it and to insure it, the city is self-insured. There is no additional cost to insure this flag. And it has to be a resolution in order to be part of city property, correct?
That is, since we are the ones who are holding the funds in the public treasury for the fundraiser, in order legally for me to expend those or for you all to approve that expense, it has to follow our procurement code. And the code says anything over $100,000, you all need to approve. So the reason that you all are approving it, even though it is not taxpayer money, is because our procurement code still applies to any fund. So if we were to set up a permanent fund within the city structures, which we right now don't have, but let's say somebody were to donate $100,000 and say, I want this to be invested permanently for the maintenance of the fund, or if we're able to do an annual fundraiser on Memorial Day or July 4th for the flag fund, and it was established. If we ever had an expense that went over 100,000, you all would have to approve that. So the reason that it is on here as a resolution is because we are holding the funds in the public treasury, and you all have to approve the release of those funds.
Thank you.
And to your point about insurance, that is correct. As a self-insured fund, there is no incremental cost. This is not like a home and you're adding a shed or some other addition that you need to add value to do.
No, I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Councilmember Kilrain.
Thank you, Mayor. City Manager, recently we had a cell tower up by the North Plant that we approved for a third party to come in and utilize and pay us for it. How much money do we gain on that? Do you recall that? It was just I think our last meeting, anyhow, it's immaterial as to how much right now. Basically, this tower is really a cell tower.
No, so I think that may have been a miscommunication at the last meeting when the contractor was here. So the company that is the low bidder for this project, Dynamic South, is a cell tower business. So they have constructed, there was a question asked to them, have they ever constructed a flagpole? As a flagpole by itself, no. That company does, however, construct flagpoles where inside the pole itself, tower antennas and equipment are installed.
Oh.
Our flagpole will not include antenna towers and communication. It is going to be a freestanding flagpole.
Okay. The accoutrements for those, the incremental pieces for those, can they be added at some time, or is it actually through the construction come up through the center of the tower?
It would require a structural engineer to look at what is there now to see if it could handle that weight load or any other.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
And those also have access ports. So there's holes in the side of them that, they can take that down and service the antennas.
Yeah, when we had the manufacturer here, though, he did comment that it would be done in the same manner in which they were there, except they wouldn't carry the extra features.
Yeah, it's very,
on it
very
to-
similar construction, but without the access points and the connections to carry the cables up.
Okay, so, but could it be refitted with cables? If we can find that out, it'd be beneficial, because if we can make this another revenue source for ourselves to do it, I think that'd be an important measure, and that might solve all the maintenance issue that we're talking about. So, thank you. If you could just get a read on that, please. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Kadook.
Thank you, Mayor. When we move forward with projects, they should be aligning with priorities we as a council have set. Not just individually or by the city manager, but we as a council have set. Again, I'm a patriot. I love this country. I love our flag. This is not about the symbolism of a flag. It's about the responsibility, the alignment, and ensuring that we're focused on the needs of our residents. Our residents have asked us to address infrastructure, public safety, not installing the largest flagpole. Thank you.
This is a business meeting. We do not applaud. This is the last time I'm going to advise everyone. If it continues, we'll have to take a break. So it's a business meeting. This isn't a sporting event. Somebody just didn't hit a home run. So we have to conduct ourselves accordingly. So thank you. Councilmember Donnell?
Yeah, I would love to join in the chorus so I can get the applause, but you all know this is me on the end, so I got to be Debbie Down and look at you in the face. Look, ladies and gentlemen, step back for a minute. It just boils down to whether you want the flag or not. Certainly, just common sense will tell you that we can come up with $15,000 in a year with a fundraiser. I'm a Marine, a veteran. Certainly, you know, there's someone in our community that will do that. So this really isn't about the things that we're making it. We have bigger things to deal with in this community other than a flag that half of the city will never see. So it's none of their money. It first started with the issue about the money. Our city manager had an idea, so he went and got the money. The next thing you know, it was about the insurance. He brought the insurance. The next thing, it was about the payment. It just keeps going because there are those of us in the community that don't want it.
Do we need a motion?
He's checked all the boxes. To be honest with you, I don't really care for it. But he has checked all the boxes. It will put us on the map. He's done it. And it's not something that is going to kill the city with all the bigger things we have to do if you step back and look from it. But we're in the middle of it. Just another thing to fight about. And hopefully, as we step back, we can just move forward and get on to exactly what Councilmember Kaduka is saying, the things that really matter. So that is why you'll see me supporting it, because this is not something to divide us. We're talking about the flag on the 250th anniversary that many of us won't even see. So sorry, that's why I'm supporting it.
Thank you. Please, you're not recognized. Please do not yell out or you. Yeah. I'm going to give you a warning. If you yell out again, we're going to remove you from the council chambers. So. All right. Mr. City Manager, when you go on the webpage, it looks like donations to date is $281,221 is what I see on there that we've taken in donations. And I think this council was extremely clear when you brought this idea forward several months ago, that it wasn't our intent, this city council's intent, to pay for the cost of the construction of this project utilizing city dollars. So at that time, you decided to do a campaign on receiving donations. Now, to date, we've gotten $281,221. Also, we have another individual who signed a escrow agreement in the amount of $141,404. So if you add that to the $281,221, we're at $422,625. So more than $420,000 that's needed to construct the flag. Now, you know, we're sitting here talking about maintenance, and I know the city manager reached out to the other two people that said they annually spent about $2,000 a year. The only time that, you know, they spent more than that is if they needed to purchase the flag, an additional flag. So we're talking about minimum amount of dollars. You know, we just approved a park to be built up in the Northeast a few minutes ago. Did you ever hear us talk about maintenance for the future? I don't ever recall us having that discussion or any of the other projects we approve tonight when you look through our consent agenda. So, you know, we have many, I know we planted over 200 trees up at Lake Kennedy that were donated. Guess what? We got to take care of them. We got to water them. We got to trim them, just like we do our maintenance. Donate a median. We do that each and every year. So, Mr. City Manager, in my opinion, you've fulfilled your obligation to make sure that it was 100% donated. So for that reason alone, then I will support the motion since it's Didn't cost the taxpayers anything. It will cost us for the maintenance, maybe, but there could be some other opportunities in the future where it may not even cost the maintenance. So for that, I will support Resolution 70-26. Councilmember Kaduc.
Thank you, Mayor. So when you throw in a park in the Northeast, that's needed. I don't remember anyone coming into council chambers saying that a flag was needed. This was just a heart project for our city manager, and I do commend him for making the fundraising goal and finding a donor. And again, I support our flag, our country, our veterans. It's awesome. It's just not what we needed. This council did not have this idea, and our people did not come to us with that. So for that reason, I'm still not supporting it. Thank you.
That's why we have a city council that rules by majority of vote. And since you're the last speaker, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay.
I have one last thing to say.
Yes, sir.
Mr. City Manager, where do you live?
United States of America and Cape Coral.
So you're a Cape Coral resident? Did you ask to have this flag?
Did I ask?
Did you bring forward the thought of it'd be great to have this?
Yes, I brought forward this along with a package of a bunch of other programs for the 250th anniversary of our country. And when I asked and discussed that with you all, council said you could support the flag as long as it was not funded by taxpayer dollars.
Well, but the reason why I ask is because we're all citizens of the Cape.
So I missed
And
that.
so all of us as citizens can bring recommendations, can bring requests to us. We shouldn't cut out people that happen to be serving the city.
Hold on a minute. This is your last warning. You either be quiet or go in the hallway. Go ahead, sir.
Any one of our citizens ought to be able to bring ideas to us and requests to us. And it would be great that when requests are brought to us, they're also brought with a funding option. And so not only did you bring an idea that you'd like to see in the city as a resident of the city of Cape Coral and a veteran, you also said, I'll make sure it gets paid for, and you did. Thank you for doing that. Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. City Manager.
I just want to say thank you to all the donors that have donated and those that still will donate. We have a beautiful city and we live in the best country in the world. So I just want to say thank you. I never intended this to ever be about the city manager. This is about the 250th anniversary of our nation. The size of the flag, I did not know it was going to be the tallest when we were discussing what could we do for our nation. I had a group of staff and we sat down and said, hey, next year is going to be the 250th anniversary. What could we do? We had a whole list of ideas. This was one. It only came to be that 250 for 250 ended up being the tallest. This was never about me as the city manager. It was always about and still is about our nation and honoring the freedoms and our flag and our nation. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Donnell. Gunter.
Aye.
Kaduc.
No.
Kilrain.
Aye.
Lastra.
I'm going to have to say no because of the maintenance.
Lehman. Long.
No.
Steinke.
Aye.
5 ayes, 3 nays, motion carried.
Okay, let's move on to item 8D. We've already heard that particular ordinance that was brought forward earlier in the agenda, the property valuation by the Lee County Property Appraisal. Just a reminder, anybody who wants to speak during citizens' input, there's a box up front. Please fill out a card. We'll be getting to that shortly. So just, if you do want to speak, just please fill out a card. And the city clerk will collect the cards and call each of you out up 2 at a time. We'll move on to item 9, ordinances and resolutions. 9B is legislative public hearings. First of which is ordinance 11-26. Madam City Clerk, please read the title.
Ordinance 11-26, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, amending the city of Cape Coral, Florida Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Administration, Article 2, Fees, Division 4, Recreational Facilities Impact Fee, Section 2-24.14, Findings and Purpose, Section 2-24.15, Definitions, Section 2-24.16, Fees Imposed, Time of Payment, Fees Adjusted by City Council based upon evidence presented by applicant. Section 2-24.18, Use of Proceeds. Section 2-24.19, Trust Fund Established, Disbursement of Funds and Investments. And Section 2-24.20, Annual Review of Recreational Facilities Impact Fee relating to the imposition of recreational facilities impact fees, providing for codification and resolution of conflicting laws, providing for severability and an effective date.
Okay, thank you. I'll turn it over to staff.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Mark Mason, Assistant City Manager. Tonight, when I give this presentation, I'm giving it for not only Ordinance 11-26, but also Ordinance 12-26, which is the next one. I'm going to be speaking about recreational facilities impact fees and at the same time, as we did the study together with public safety impact fees. So tonight, we're going to be talking about the development impact fees to be updated and adopted. In this case, we're looking at the police, the fire and advanced life support, or ALS fees, collectively known as public safety impact fees, as well as the parks impact fees. Just as a reminder, a development impact fee is a one-time fee that is assessed at the issuance of a building permit to recover costs for infrastructure costs that are required generally to serve new development. So a little history on the impact fees that we're talking about tonight. Recreational impact fees were first implemented in 1987 in the city of Cape Coral. They were last updated in 2002. I don't want that to imply that we've never looked to update them again. We have, but the last time they were in fact updated was in 2002. Fire rescue impact fees and the police and advanced life support impact fees were first implemented in 2006. They have not been brought back to be adjusted since then. We contracted with a company called DTA to conduct an impact fee study in April of 2025. We presented those results to the City Council on January 30th, 2026 during our winter budget workshop. We presented the public safety and recreational impact fees ordinances to the Planning and Zoning Board as well on March 4th, 2026, and both ordinances were recommended for approval. And at the same time, on the same date, we also introduced these two ordinances on March 4th. So the proposed development impact fee schedule, the maximum calculated allowable fees, it's important to recognize that Florida statute limits how much we can actually increase the fees on an annual basis. And so if we were looking at extraordinary circumstances, which we've talked about, and as the City Council recall, we discussed that option when we talked about mobility fees, then the fee would be, the calculated impact fee would be the third column. However, we're looking at implementing it in accordance with the statute that says that if the fee increases more than between 25 and 50%, then you're allowed to increase the impact fee by 50% over a 4-year period, or 12.5% per year. If the fee increase from when you originally adopted to this particular study is between 1% and 25%, then you have the ability to set the new fees at 25% per year over a 2-year period, but it's still limited to 50% increase. And so the impact, the fee adjustments that we're proposing and that is included in the ordinance are listed as 26, 27, 28, and 29. The implementation date associated with these fees would be on July 1st, 2026. And so every year thereafter on July 1st, 2026, we'd roll into the next fiscal year impact fee calculation. The majority of the fees that you see up there were in fact implemented over the 4-year period. So it's 12.5% of whatever that fee adjustment is over that period. As an example, for a residential dwelling unit for a police impact fee, the limitation was $298.28. That would be increased at $74.50 per year for 4 years. The actual calculated fee, if we went with the calculated fee under extraordinary circumstances, which we're not, and we're not proposing it, and we're not really discussing it, would be $1,314. The current fee today is $596.55. So we kind of give you an idea of what this impact is for the first year or for an annual basis. In this case, the overall adjustment would change for a single family residential property that's less than 30,000 square feet in gross area would be $290.21 difference. That would be the amount that would be collected. If you applied that at, on 1,000 properties, overall, we would have changed then the impact fees at $290,000 from 1 year to the next. If we were looking at a construction example for a facility that was greater than 30,000 square feet, the overall impact fee, sans or not including the parks impact fee, because it's only associated with residential property, would be a change of $2,567.50 over each year for over a 4-year period. So as we discussed previously, as I pointed out previously, the implementation period for this would be July 1st. We're limited from a notice period as well as an effective date period of 90 days from the time that we bring it to you and you approve it. We're limited to 90 days or longer for the actual implementation. So we would be looking at this at July 1st or 97 days from approval, assuming you approve them tonight. And I'm here for any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll open up public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on ordinance 11-26, please come forward. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. I'll entertain a motion regarding ordinance 11-26.
So moved.
Second.
Any council discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Your Honor, can I confirm that the motion is to approve?
Oh, sorry, motion to approve.
Thank you.
And the second agrees?
11-26.
Yeah, motion to approve the ordinance.
11-26.
11-26.
Second approves.
Donnell?
Aye.
Gunter?
Aye.
Paduk?
Aye.
Lorraine?
Aye.
Lastra?
Aye.
Lehman? Long?
No.
Steinke?
Aye.
7 ayes, 1 nay, motion carried.
Okay, move on to ordinance 12-26. Madam City Clerk, please read title.
Ordinance 12-26, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cape Coral, Florida, amending the City of Cape Coral, Florida Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Administration, Article 2, Fees, Division 3, Public Safety Impact Fee, Section 2-24.8, Definitions, Section 2-24.9, Fees imposed, time of payment, fees adjusted by City Council based upon evidence presented by applicant, fire and rescue impact fee credits, Section 2-24.10, refunds and fee for special fire safety needs, Section 2-24.12, use of proceeds, and Section 2-24.13, annual review and adjustment of public safety impact fee, relating to the imposition of public safety impact fees, providing for codification and resolution of conflicting laws, providing for severability and an effective date.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mason, I believe your previous presentation incorporated 12-26 as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. And I'm here for any questions you have on this ordinance.
Okay, thank you. I'll now open public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on ordinance 12-26, please come forward. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed.
Motion to approve ordinance 1226.
Second.
Okay, any other council discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Donnell.
Aye.
Gunter.
Aye.
Paduk.
Aye.
Kilrain.
Aye.
Lastra.
Aye.
Lehman. Long.
No.
Steinke.
Aye.
7 ayes, 1 nay, motion carried.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thanks. Move on to ordinance 9-26. Madam City Clerk, please read the title.
Ordinance 9-26, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, providing for a referendum to consider the adoption of amendments to section 4.06 Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Cape Coral, Florida Charter concerning the election of a council member to serve as Mayor Pro Tem, providing for publication of a notice of the referendum election, providing for severability and an effective date.
Okay, thank you. I will turn it over to our city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. If you recall, this is the very first one that was ultimately brought before you in the committee of the whole. It was a minor modification. There has been no changes since that time, no changes since it was first introduced to you all. And so at this point in time, this is the actual final public hearing. It is scheduled to go before the August 18th primary for approval by the electorate.
Okay, thank you. I'll now open up public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on ordinance 9-26, please come forward. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed.
Motion to approve ordinance 9-26.
Any other council discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Donnell.
Aye.
Gunter.
Aye.
Kaduk.
Aye.
Kilrain.
Aye.
Lastra.
Aye.
Lehman. Long.
Aye.
Steinke.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, we'll move on to ordinance 13-26. Madam City Clerk, please read the title.
Ordinance 13-26, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, providing for a referendum to consider the adoption of amendments to section 4.02 eligibility of the city of Cape Coral, Florida Charter relating to permanent legal residency and domicile requirements for the eligibility of candidates for council member or mayor, providing for publication of a notice of the referendum election, providing for severability and an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. In regards to ordinance number 13-26, we had extensive discussions regarding the applicability of this ordinance to the committee of the whole. There was some request for modifications. I have made those modifications. I discussed those specifically with you all during the introduction of this matter. It is now finalized and ready for the public hearing and approval by the council.
Thank you. I'll now open up the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on ordinance 13-26, please come forward. Right over here.
Julia Tari. I read this change, and my concern is it's limiting you to have to live in your district for a year and also live in the city of Cape Coral. Well, a lot of us live in the city. Sometimes we build a house, and with your permit issues and everything that takes so long here, somebody could live here for 10 years, move into District 6, let's say, and want to run for office, and you're limiting them now to wait. It's not a year that they have to wait. It's to the next election, which could be 4 years. So I don't see why you would limit a citizen that's been here that long to have to wait to put themselves on the ballot. We have enough trouble henceforth getting good people up here. We shouldn't be limiting other people to run for office that may be more qualified for the seat. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak on ordinance 13-26? Seeing none, public Hearing is now closed. Is there a motion regarding ordinance 13-26?
Motion to approve ordinance 13-26.
Councilmember Steinke.
Mayor, thank you. Yeah, on Ms. Tari's comment, that was brought up. Actually, I brought that up during discussion as it would relate to that limitation and people moving house to house. But we make decisions as a council, and the decision of the council was to still allow this to go out to the general public to be determined whether or not we would impose that restriction or not. And if it's the will of the people to leave it the way it is, then they'll vote no. And if it's the will of the people to impose the restriction that it would require a longer stay in the district, then they'll vote yes. So that was the decision that was made, was to put it out to public vote rather than to not have it on the ballot as a potential referendum item.
Thank you. Seeing no other comments, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Donnell. Aye. Gunter.
Aye.
Paduk.
Aye.
Kilrain.
Aye.
Lastra.
Aye.
Lehman. Aye. Long.
Aye.
Steinke.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, just again, last call. Anyone wants to speak during citizens' input, please fill out a comment card. We'll be to that shortly. Next item is introductions. None. Item.
You missed one.
We still got 1426.
One more.
I think.
14-26.
Item 5.
26.
Okay, didn't see that one down there. Sorry about that. Madam City Clerk, it's 1426, correct? Please read the title.
Ordinance 14-26, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cape Coral, Florida, providing for a referendum to consider the adoption of amendments to Section 4.05, Candidate Qualifications and Election of the City of Cape Coral, Florida Charter concerning the required submission of proof of residency for candidates eligible to hold office of mayor or council member, providing for publication of a notice of the referendum election, providing for severability and an effective date.
Okay, thank you, Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. This ordinance 14-26, just like ordinance 13-26, will be scheduled for the primary on August 18th, but in reference to the specific ballot language and the amendment, this was discussed extensively at the committee of the whole, several committee of the whole meetings. There was a minor modification that was done. That modification was then presented to you all during the introduction. It has not been altered since then, and it is ready for now public hearing and approval by the mayor and city council to go on that ballot.
Okay, thank you. I'll now open up public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on ordinance 14-26, please come forward. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. I entertain a motion regarding ordinance 4-
Motion to approve ordinance 14-26.
Any other discussion by council? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Donnell.
Aye.
Gunter.
Aye.
Paduk.
Aye.
Kilrain.
Aye.
Lastra.
Aye.
Lehman. Long.
Aye. Aye.
Steinke.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, thank you. Move on to item 10, citizens input time, which is a maximum of 60 minutes is set for the input of citizens on matters concerning city government, 3 minutes per individual. Just to remind everyone what the policies are and the rules, citizens are given opportunity to be heard concerning matters scheduled on the council agenda or any other matters pertinent to the city. In order to promote an orderly system, holding a public business meeting and to ensure that individuals are not embarrassed or harassed as a result of their exercise of their right of free speech, city has established rules by resolution that must be followed. These rules are council rules of procedure. And again, they were established and adopted by the city council by resolution. A speaker is required to always maintain proper decorum. Only the person recognized by the mayor should address the city council or make audible remarks during the business portion of the meeting. Speakers shall address their comments to the city council as a whole and not as an individual council member or to any staff member or any other member of the audience. No person shall make any personal or profane remarks or gestures Unauthorized remarks, stomping of feet, whistling, or similar demonstrations shall not be permitted during the business meeting. No person is permitted to interrupt the city council proceedings or the comments of any person recognized by the mayor in any manner. No person is permitted to behave in a disorderly manner by shouting, yelling, whistling, chanting, singing, dancing, clapping, foot stomping, cheering, jeering, and engaging in any other disruptive display of conduct during the city council's business meeting. No person can display a banner, place card, or sign. No person can distribute any handout materials to any members in the audience or within City Hall. No person is permitted to refuse to follow the instructions and to comply with these policies and rules that are governed by the City Council proceedings. Any person who engages in behavior that is prohibited within these rules that have been established or is boisterous or disruptive in any manner in the City Council business meeting shall be asked to leave and possibly escorted from the room by the police department. So with that being said, Madam City Clerk, please call the individuals to come to the podium.
Anivia Denslow and Debbie Long.
We utilize the podium over in front of the doors to my left.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Nevaeh Denslow. I'm 14 years old and a freshman at Oasis Charter High School. I stand before you today to discuss the tragedy regarding one of my closest friends, Stella Piscopo. I'm here to discuss possible short and long-term solutions and to be the voice that she doesn't have. Stella and I were close all of my 8th grade year, and I considered our friendship to be that of a sister. Every time I went in and out of school, she was with me. If you saw me, you knew Stella was close by. Hearing this case shattered me as it did for many others. Whether you knew her as a friend, family, or even a stranger you just recognized seeing in public, hearing about the incident made you upset. For me, it made me sick. As I sit here explaining my views and voicing my opinions to take action, she lays in a hospital bed fighting to survive. This situation has affected me so much that I struggle to sleep at night comfortably wondering if she's okay. So instead of reloading the news page every hour, wishing for an update, I've decided to come up with ideas to hopefully help prevent any other families and friends go through this impact again. A long-term prevention or a long-term solution is a pedestrian bridge. Pedestrian bridges can be placed over busy intersections such as Santa Barbara Boulevard and Veterans to keep both the people and drivers safe from collision. While I understand it is a lengthy process, the positive effects will outweigh the time spent into this project. This is particularly useful as there is a major high school right next to this dangerous intersection. Many high schoolers who live close by their school may walk or use self-transportation to get home. This proposes even more risk of injury as many teenagers are crossing these roads every day, 5 days a week. If this solution proves to be successful, it can be pushed to have all schools by a major busy road to have these bridges. However, I understand this solution may take a while to be put into place, which is why I've come up with a shorter term solution to solidify action quicker. At crosswalks, we can implement barrier arm gates to block pedestrians from crossing until they have the right of way. This ensures no crossing at the wrong times and helps drivers and pedestrians clearly see who has the right of way based on if the barrier is up or down. This makes sure that no one is crossing without the white light and bar raising indicating to them that it is safe to do so. Although I have proposed ideas, I want to know what are some other quick solutions that you can all come up with to take action against this reoccurring problem. Thank you for your time and I appreciate you for listening.
Thank you. Please. No applause.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Debbie Long, and I'm a resident of Cape Coral. I'm here because I frequently drive down 47th Terrace, and I always see people at the community refrigerator. We live in a country that's abundant. We have much to give, and the citizens here really love giving to this community effort. We bring it for, I know people that cook meals and put them in the refrigerator, people that buy food, put them in the freezer. And every time that I go by, which is about 4 or 5 times a week, there is always somebody there. So I ask you, I understand that they were given a citation because it didn't come within code, but maybe we can revise the code so that we can bless the people in our community who are less fortunate than someone like myself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pat Howard and Judy Renali. Pat Howard, Judy Renali, Dion Lopez.
Hi, Dion Lopez, Lee County Plumbing and Supply, and I started the community fridge for lots of people that don't have food. Lots of people that are struggling because of up money that the city needs to take away, and they're not able to get food. On 3/5, I was cited, a citation, not even come in and say, hey, Ms. Lopez, can we talk to you? 5 days, you need to get rid of this. Okay, so within that day after this was posted, City of Cape Coral government replied and said, hi, everyone. We wanted to clarify a few details. The code citation at 532 Southeast 47th Terrace wasn't issued because of the community fridge itself. Okay? Then what was it for? According to this, it was a notice of border property inspection. So it didn't even have to do with me. Okay? Moving forward, a couple of hours later, somebody came back and revised it and said something different. Well, now it's not even available. Can't find it. So according to whoever wrote this, the city fridge is not a problem. Other than that, if there is still a problem, we've come up with some renditions that we'd like to propose to see if the city is okay with that. I hear something needs to be enclosed. Circle K's right behind me. They have a freezer. It's not enclosed. So I don't know that I should have to take on spending money when everybody else doesn't follow rules. And again, Circle K has a freezer outside. I have a freezer outside. They have ice. I have food. I'm feeding the community. I don't know what the difference is. Maybe somebody can enlighten me on that. Again, the city fridge apparently is okay, but yet I was told on this citation, okay, that the fridge needs to come inside. So which one is it? You guys maybe need to get together and maybe discuss stuff, okay? You're here for us. You're here to help the city. And I can't believe that you would actually let something like this be taken away from people who actually really need it in the city. And I'd like to know if somebody would like to get back with me. I'm willing to sit down to whoever needs to make this resolutions and let's come up with something. But I will fight for this freezer and this refrigerator to stay aboard for our citizens.
All right, we're going to take a 15-minute break. I'd like to go ahead and call the meeting back to order. Just want to remind everybody what the rules are. If you feel the need to express either support for if someone says something in the podium, raise your arms. That's more than allowed. Just no vocal, no clapping, things of that sort. We want to get through. We have 60 minutes for citizens input by our rules, and we've already ate up a good majority of that. So we want to make sure that we give everybody an opportunity. So please adhere to the rules. With that being said, Madam City Clerk, could you call the next person?
Skyland Brown and Ginger Bomasino Penning. Marie Kavanaugh and Thomas Senator.
My name is Skyland Brown, and like many people in this room, I'm here because I care deeply about the future of Cape Coral. Tonight, you're discussing several different issues: the community fridge, new parks, the yacht club project, and the city flag. On the surface, they may seem unrelated, but they all raise the same fundamental question: what kind of city are we choosing to be? Are we a city that penalizes neighbors for feeding people in need, or a city that works with its residents to support community solutions? Are we a city that protects our parks and natural spaces, or one that treats every piece of land as an opportunity to squeeze out the highest dollar amount? Are we a city that exercises fiscal responsibility when discussing hundreds of millions of dollars in public projects, or one that moves forward without fully rebuilding public trust and transparency? And when it comes to symbols like the city flag, are we making decisions with the community or simply for the community? And to add to that, there's been a lot of talks of patriotism. And I will tell you what, showing up to these city council meetings is one of the most patriotic things we can do. These conversations are not just about projects or code enforcement. They're about trust. Right now, many residents feel like they are fighting their own government just to be heard. That shouldn't be the relationship between a city and the people who live here. Cape Coral is full of residents who volunteer their time, feed people who are struggling, protect our environment, and show up to meetings like this because they love this city. These people should not feel like obstacles. They should be seen as partners. I encourage the City Council tonight to slow down where needed, listen carefully to the community, and remember that every decision you make shapes the culture of this city. Because once trust is lost, it is a lot harder to rebuild than any other building project. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Ginger Bomasino Penning.
Ginger? Is there a Ginger in here?
Marie Kavanaugh.
My name is Marie Kavanaugh, and I'm here representing the Take Out the Trash Committee of Cape Coral. And first thing I want to remind you all of is I had the clerk pass this out again. It's pretty much the same list I submitted on March the 4th, I believe, of questions I asked that still have remained unanswered, and a lot of them can't be put in as records requests because they are questions. Okay, Base 1 construction services. We were billed, and they did rentals of a Polaris ATV, a generator, and a few other things to the tune of, and this is in less than 6 months, almost $11,000. These are things that we don't believe should be deducted. They're not doing anything for the park. And Base Construction Services, they're at 25450 Airport Road, Suite A, Punta Gorda. The managers are Robert Humple and Carlton Hughes. Now, Florida Premier Contractors, LLC, 25450 Airport Road, Suite A, Punta Gorda. managers, Robert Humble and Carlton Hughes. So there's something a little shady going on there, I think. And I have to call out the city manager because he's not being completely truthful with us. He's claiming the flagpole isn't going to cost taxpayers anything. But yet, if you read the stuff that's, the attachments to the resolution, one of them says, the city will provide the necessary electrical power requirements, conduit wires, timers, control switches, example, photocells, electrician labor, permitting, and inspection service related to these lights. So is that all free? That's coming out of our pockets. The city will provide necessary electrical power requirements, conduits, wires, electrician labor, permitting, and inspection services related to energizing and operating the electrical winch. The sod the final grade areas after project completion. The city is going to do that. Why? Why are the taxpayers paying for that? In normal things, if somebody does a project, they complete it. City to provide land clearing, trees and shrubs as needed at the direction of the contractors. Again, why do we pay for that? And it's a lie that we're not paying anything. That's coming out of our pockets. And then city will provide additional clean compacted fill to the flagpole location in immediate area as needed by the contractor. Again, why should taxpayers have to fund that? Okay.
Thank you.
And, our city manager is telling us millions of people are going to come here. I got one question. Where are they going to park?
Thank you.
Thomas Senator.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. My name is Thomas Senator. I've been a resident here for 22 years. I'm a 7-year volunteer as a PVU in the city. And one of our tasks were to issue citations for parking. And I looked over the citation for the community refrigerator. I read it. It was done very poorly. If I was to do that as a PVU, it would have been rejected immediately. So we need to really look into that. But I wanted to step back a minute. We're talking about those lots we bought. You had this appraisal. I don't know what your experience or your backgrounds are, but appraisals are usually, or appraisers are usually provided the actual contract for purchase that they're appraising, so they know what the purchase price is, and therefore they come up with a number. So I would have challenged every single appraisal you had done that you have no idea what you're doing, because the facts show that you consistently overpay for property every single time you buy something. For example, the last 3 lots you bought for Owls, the Bimini East projects where you kind of overpaid by double. So that's kind of ridiculous, but we're going to go back to this community fridge. I looked up the statutes because the ordinance, and it was 916A5 considered storage of junk. And I'm going to read to you the definition, and you can explain to me how it's not compliance. Storage of junk, to keep or store junk unless such junk is kept or stored in an enclosed building in such manner and under such conditions that the keeping of the storage of such junk shall not constitute a menace to the public health, safety, general welfare, or inhabitants of the city, and therefore becoming a nuisance. Since when does a brand new refrigerator and freezer constitute junk? But the definition says if it's enclosed in a building. Why was that not offered to them? Why was it just issued a citation with no answers, no solutions? Just say, hey, we don't like this, just get rid of it. Now, I wrote to everybody up there, and if I was sitting up there, I would have at least responded. Out of 8 people, 1 person responded. That's terrible. I don't understand what you're doing. But we had renditions. There was renderings done that I looked, I reviewed them. I think they're amazing. I think that would look beautiful in front. It was set up where these refrigerators and these dry good pantry doors would be enclosed in a building. And therefore, based on what I read, and I want your opinion on it right now when I'm done, would this constitute an enclosed building and therefore be allowed? Thank you so much.
Gabrielle Ferraro and Julia Attari.
My name's Gabrielle Ferraro. I'm here today as a member of this community who's really tired of asking simple questions and getting really no answers. For weeks now, we have asked, why is a volunteer ran fridge being treated like a problem instead of something worth supporting? Why has there been no effort to collaborate with the very people doing the work to help your and ours community? And most importantly, what is the city of Cape Coral actually doing for the hungry people? Because right now, where we're standing, it really doesn't seem like much. While this is happening, the city is spending millions of dollars on an American flag in the name of recognition, but that flag's supposed to stand for something, as we all agree. It represents service, it represents sacrifice, it represents our veterans, many who are struggling, as most of you know, and some who rely on resources like the fridge, but you have put nothing else in place of it while taking it away. So what does that investment actually mean for us as citizens? At the same time, you're taking away one of the most accessible ways in this city for people, including those veterans that you are speaking so highly of and we all cherish. They can't get food. And your answer is, for what? Why? The fridge didn't appear out of nowhere. This has existed for the last 5 years because people in this city need, and they need help. Their neighbors stepped up when no one, including all of you in this government, did not. What is Cape Coral about anymore? A flag that's 10 inches bigger than the other one? It's like crazy to me. This is like not hiding behind the policy while your neighbors struggle is what we're asking for. Let's talk about how it was handled. A violation was issued at 6:50 in the morning before anything was even open. Before that, there was no opportunity to even have a conversation with a lady who's been feeding your city for 5 years. That's not leadership from any of you, and it's really hard for me to understand that. It shouldn't have taken the media, me getting every news people to get any of your attention. I've sent emails to half of you with no response. Just to get basic answers from the people who are supposed to represent us, it's embarrassing. So here we are today after 5 years of this fridge serving your community as well as ours. Not one of you thought to come down and have a conversation with this lady until the news was brought in. That lack of effort and that lack of humanity is exactly why we're all standing here today making a commotion, because it's the only way to get your attention. We're asking for partnership, we're asking for transparency, and we're asking for leadership that reflects the value of the people you represent in this city. So again, I will ask so clearly for all of you to hear. Will the city work with us to find a solution that keeps this fridge accessible, not here, accessible to every person in this city? Thank you.
Thank you.
Julia Atari and Lisette Fiallo.
What was the second person?
Lisette Fiallo.
Good afternoon to everybody. I'm Lisette Fiallo. I'm here again after many times. I'm here only to explain to everybody that I'm feeling misrepresented from this government, because I present many requests to few things and nobody answered to me. My district 11, Rachel, she say she respond to me. No, she don't respond to me. She push to me. She never want listen to me. City attorney and Michael enjoy with your ego say, we are not respond to any email. He say in the meeting, and the last meeting I was here, City Attorney Alexander explained that he doesn't have to answer to me. He work for them, and then doesn't work for me, because I did for legal channel and nobody answered to me. They push to me. When you put equal rules in any city or in the country, you need to follow the rules for everybody. Because if you don't follow the rules for everybody, this is harassment. This is discrimination in any ethnic group like Latin people like me. Because I have my proof here. This is my neighbor. a lot of violation and nothing happened. Here, Rialto building many big house for rich people, renting these houses, not register their houses, and renting less 6-9 and nothing happened. With me, it is discrimination because I renting less 6-9 and have to pay $305. And Richard Miller, inspector, make violation and my request. They cover the backyard from him. And I draw another, this is, they have to spend money to the, I draw the fence from one land that I have. The city approved. When the inspector went to my home, they say it is illegal. What doing? I called to the inspector, boss Bess, the nearest Bess, and Bess told me, Lisette, they don't do nothing. I am no, but this is approved for building department, and now they say it is illegal. I don't want to move my fence because I pay $6,000 in this fence. The building department approved. This is the proof. This is the proof that I have. But I am not ghost here. This is supposed to recover in this meeting, and only recovering the voice.
Thank you.
Sean Hartman and Kyle Lahamadou.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Julia Tari, I was outside where I was told to be. First thing I want to talk about is citizens' input at the end of the meeting. I have asked this question a number of times, and although our infamous city attorney is never going to answer it, the law, I want to know about 286.0114 that gives the citizens the opportunity to speak with the council and voice their opinion on anything you do prior to voting. We don't get that option because you stick us at the back of the meeting. Now, I know his little answer is home rule. Home rule does not override state law. So, Mr. Long, please look into this for us, because apparently you're starting to understand he's not the best attorney in the world. Okay? I want it taken care of, because I will file with the court if you don't fix this. I'm tired of being stuck at the back like we are pieces of crap and we don't matter, because we do. You just approved a flagpole that shouldn't even been on the agenda. It was not city business. It was a project that the city manager wanted. Well, the refrigerator is a project she wants. Leave her the hell alone. It has nothing to do with the city, our property. You're giving him our property. And what about the money? So I want to know if the contractor that gave you the money to fund this is also doing business with the city of Cape Coral, because I find that to be a grave conflict of interest. If that Mr. Hicks is doing business with the city of Cape Coral, I want to know about it. So this is a public records request. How much worth does he get from the city of Cape Coral? That's my second problem. Third problem is I'm just damn sick of the bullshit. How's that for a problem? You guys just, and not all of you, excuse me, it's not all of you, but start doing your damn homework. Stop treating everybody like they don't know what they're doing. I appreciate your preaching to us, but we don't care. We really don't. We want you to hear what we're saying, and we don't have to acquiesce because he wants something. You don't acquiesce to us. We don't have to acquiesce to you. We are the citizens. We are the taxpayers. We are losing citizens. We're bankrupting our city. We are in debt up to our assholes, and nobody cares. We are on I'm live too. We are in debt. We can't keep all of this stuff. It has to stop. Finish the projects that are already in the pipeline, and then move on to more other things that you want. We don't finish anything. I mean, we don't even have a yacht club, which was our main draw. You think more people are going to come to see his flag than want to go to the beach when their grandchildren are visiting? I mean, come on. That's insane. Thank you.
Sean Hartman and Kyle Lahamadou.
Wow, I have to follow that. Okay. Sean Hartman, District 1. I have a solution for the community fridge, and Councilwoman Laster, thank you for letting me speak to you about this. I think we need to put a code in the code book to allow for these community fridges. We need to create regulations that allow for safety and cleanliness, but Dion has shown that this can be done successfully. So I think we need to take the model and the standards that she has set, because quite frankly, she has set these standards, put them in the code book, put them in the rules. And then this way, not only is she doing this community fridge and there won't be any issues, but now other businesses and other entities who may want to do something like this can do this. Our city is a city that takes care of each other. We learned this during Hurricane Ian. And Dion is following that tradition of care in Cape Coral. She's following that adage of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to love our neighbor as ourselves. And I think it's clearly an insult to our community and to her that she is being punished for this. And I do want to be very clear here. I do not blame the city manager or code enforcement for enforcing the laws that are on the books. I believe in the rule of law. I believe the law needs to be followed. But it is very clear from what we are seeing that the law needs to be changed. And so I think you can see here that the community is behind Dion. I do want to say, Dion, I know you sometimes feel like Cape Coral is not your family, but you are our family and we love you. And I know that was breaking the rule, so I have $1 for the swear jar if we need to put that in there. So City Council, if you could please save our community fridge, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much and God bless.
Good evening. Kyle Amadou, District 7. I'm curious if council knows who the mysterious donor is for the flagpole project. I obtained that information through a public records request. I also received a phone call from the city manager asking me not to release it. If the city truly wants to improve transparency with its citizens, this information should not be withheld. Please check your email. My public records request is in your inbox. Okay? So, if you want to release it, it's in your hands now. If the public is to be informed, advise who the donor is today. If you know, and you know the reason why we believe it should be released and made public. Also, fun fact, I called one of the flag suppliers and they advised me that the reason they recommend 2 flags is because every month they advise that the flag to be taken down and sent for repairs. Has anyone ever looked to see what that's going to cost? And those 2 flags are still only estimated to last 6 months, okay, being swapped out. So basically we get a year of them. And that's from one of the companies that you received an estimate from. Now, 10/22/2024, Paradise Deli, $76.84. Early work GC meals. 6/26/2025, El Mambo Restaurant, $43. Sub meeting. 6/27/2025, Racetrack, $5.49. Water. 7/1/2025, Paradise Deli, $92.78. Lunch subcontractor meeting. 7/21/2025, Paradise Deli again, $93.66. Waterproofing meeting. 7/2/2025, public, $11, water. 7/3, Paradise Deli, 102.45, sub meeting. 7/17/2025, First Watch, 103.96, sub meeting. 7/24/2025, Home Depot, $19.92, water. 7/24, First Watch, $21.47, lunch, 1 person. 7/31, Ford's Garage, 108.50, sub meeting. 8/7/2025, Winn-Dixie, $38.85, water and Gatorade. 8/14/25, First Watch, $63.93, sub meeting. 8/21/2025, First Watch, $84.67, sub meeting. 8/27/25, Publix, $39, sub meeting. 9/3/25, Publix, $7.34, water. 9/9 Home Depot, $80.56, small tools. 9/18/25 Publix, $63.97, water, Gatorade, Powerade. 9 September 25 First Watch, $76.21, sub meeting. Parkway Subs, sub meeting. Home Depot, $96.82, water, ice, maintenance. 10/9 Parkway Sub Salads, $51.80, meeting, lunch. 10/15/2025 Parkway Sub Salads, $57.28, sub meeting. These are all things that we have paid for J.C. Park. Can somebody please explain that?
Thank you. No applauding, please.
Jennifer Davis and Christopher Chapman.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Davis from the Cape Coral Fire Department Community Foundation. I received a grant from the Saller Foundation that gives me money to give to food security. Since January of this year, we have donated $3,500 worth of food and meals. Earlier this evening, we had a presentation on Vietnam. Well, I have witnessed a Vietnam vet go to this food pantry and receive food. A vet from Vietnam. Not only has this foundation, not only has the food pantry given him food, I know they have given him clothes. They have given him a mattress for his wife. This is our vet from Vietnam. So I am very proud of this food pantry and what they do for the community. Thank you.
Christopher Chapman.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Chris Chapman. I'm a Cape Coral owner of, resident and owner of Pinch A Penny Pools in Southwest Cape and a licensed swimming pool contractor for 17 years. I have 24 years of industry experience and hold numerous licenses and certifications within my industry. I'm here tonight to ask a simple question. Why is the city spending time and resources on lower priority items when there are serious ongoing issues affecting local businesses and public safety? The building department as it stands today is extremely difficult to work with. Requirements change frequently and enforcement is inconsistent. They are slow to respond and don't give clear responses and resolutions to these issues. And I know this because these have been issues that I've brought to the attention of the building department heads and multiple building officials for years. I'm a member of the CCCIA, who Wade, I'm not here representing, but I am a member of, and will say that I know I've been in numerous meetings of trying to bridge this gap, and we're not seeing any reasonable change. At the same time, this issue is making it easier for unlicensed and unethical operators to continue working without oversight. It's not just a business issue, this is a safety issue. And I take that very, very closely to my heart as being in the swimming pool industry. As you know, water safety is very, very difficult to establish. And there are many, many hazards around a swimming pool. We also no longer have a dedicated licensing division, which is a major concern for a city of this size and the growth that we're seeing. Licensing and training exists for a reason, and first and foremost, that's for life safety. But there are consistent violations that are easy to spot across our city on a daily basis, and the problem is only getting worse. I see code enforcement wasting time on issues like Dion's food bank when those are resources we should be using to try to protect life safety. I'm asking the mayor and the council to take a much harder look at the performance, the consistency, and accountability of your city staff. There is a disconnect and you know it. You need to do something about it, Mr. Mayor. Right now, the system is making it harder for people doing things the right way and easier for those who aren't. Across multiple trades, as I said, we've discussed at the CCCIA level, this is a constant issue within our city. And think something needs to change sooner than later. So please take action, hold your department heads accountable, fix the processes, and support the businesses that are trying to do the right thing and support your community instead of making it easier for people that are willing to break the law and do things unsafely, which is going to be a major harm to our community. Thank you.
Pat Howard, Judy Renali, and Ginger Omicino Petting.
They're all replaceable.
That's all the cards I have, sir.
All right, at this time, citizens' input is now closed, and I'll open up for council discussion. Councilmember Donnell.
Hey, thank you, Mayor. To the young lady who came and all of you all with the blue shirts on, I think someone made a comment about the news or something while you're here. So this is exactly why you have a council, because you bring your concerns. And I'm looking at you saying, this is the first time I've heard of this magnitude of this issue, because I'm not on social media and I don't watch the news, because I believe that's what's tearing our community apart. I have been made aware of someone sent a podcasty thing that you all do, and I think your face was on there talking to someone else was here. So, no, the lady behind you who spoke over here. So I would just tell you, no, you either believe it or you don't. If you've been around here long enough, you know I don't lie. So what I'm saying to you is the fact that that's a concern for me when you say it's resonating that we're feeding veterans and we're stopping feeding people because we have a homelessness and a hunger crisis. Now, message taken to heart. There are things in this seat though, and I appreciate you for bringing it. So there's something we're just gonna have to work through together. No one's preaching to you. When I was sitting out there, everyone says up here, all we do up here is just talk, not listening, wah, 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 wah. I'm trying to talk in plain speak so we can understand each other. We have a community. That's a concern. The issue we're going to have to tackle, I know that there's an issue in that area about the floodplains, and I know there's an issue about the building code, which we don't control. There are things that we do control. This is one of those items, and if I'm not mistaken, I think someone came out and tried to speak. So all I can say to you, but I've been with this council for a while, and nobody likes government because we're all idiots and dummies. I get it. I was sitting there. But this is something that I think that we have to work together. I'm not promising you anything other than the fact that for sure this is sunken in to me today. And I think that if we prioritize it, and they do say squeaky wheel gets the oil. So I'll be listening for the city manager. I'm sure someone else is going to say to it. I don't want you to ever think that we don't hear. And for those of you all, I've asked the question once before, and I've heard you, and they always say I'm preaching. I just ask questions, and they say I ask questions. And the question then becomes, how do we show you that we're listening if we're not doing what you want us to do? How do I show you that I'm listening without acquiescing to what you want me to do? That's just for another day. But this is not falling. This is not going to go away. I'm not making you any promises saying it's going to stay and we're going to feed them. But I am saying to you that I can even sense it, that we're going to follow through. And I'll come down there and I'll tell you, look, this is what I came up with. This is what the solutions are. But I do think that we can work together and work it out. But I'm just one of five. I'm just one of five. And I want to end by saying thank you all I was here for the UEP, so they were doing that, and we had to stop the meeting like 6 times. But thank you all for embracing that. But know that I think that we don't hear you up here, and we're not listening. Do you understand? So just hold tight. Thank you for coming. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Laster.
Thank you, Mayor. Sweet Nevaeh, you made me cry. I don't like it when children cry. And I'm so sorry about your friend, and I know that everyone up here is praying for her. I do know that the city manager has spoken with you and that our police chief will also speak with you. We do need to come up with a solution for these different types of transportation. We get emails all the time about e-bikes, e-scooters, and they're new. And we do need to do something. I think tracking information, I think similar to what Representative Benna-Roach did in the state legislature, this go round was put some legislation in place to be able to track those types of accidents so that we can better keep our community safe. And I trust that the city manager and the police chief will get with you and talk with you. And then I'm sure that'll be a future discussion up here. So thank you. Let's see, Mr. Chapman, you're not wrong. We know that we have improvements to make in our building department. Thank you. Sorry. I don't have my glasses today. We know that we have improvements to make. Mr. City Manager, do you want to share with this gentleman your round tables that you have every week to kind of go through permitting and just kind of educate the public on what you have been working on with that department in terms of Kaizen, making it more efficient, getting things right and better so that there aren't so many reviews after review after review after review.
I can, if I know there's one more to speak. Would you like me to do it after council speaks, or you want me to do it now?
Whatever you want to do. You want to wait? We'll wait. We
Yeah,
can
in
wait.
case you have any other comments from the
Yeah,
other
we can
council.
wait. That's no worries, no worries. And then lastly, the community fridge, Sweet Dion. I know every candidate this side of the Mississippi has probably visited you about this. You told me that. Oh, really? I came to see you. I did. And I think the mayor came too. Okay, cool. So I know that when I saw you, I had gotten kind of some guidance from our planning department. And I think I reviewed with you, and let me read these real quick. The 3 options were for you, the business owner, remove the fridge and shelving from the property, relocate it to the interior of the building. That's not going to work. And partner with another food security organization to place the fridge at a location where the outdoor storage is permitted under the applicable zoning. The issue is your zoning does not allow for this. So I did contact a local nonprofit that does do food security. And sadly, their board of directors were not comfortable because of the liability piece, right? So then I think I shared with you, I was going to call other businesses. I contacted 3 other businesses, and it was the same thing. Either they didn't want the liability in case someone got sick, or if they had an enclosure, it's because they had equipment behind that and they locked it, right? And so it wouldn't be accessible 24 hours. I know that when we talked about this the last time up here, when we brought it up during our CRA meeting, we talked about the zoning change. So I know that we can change that zoning, but I'm unclear if the business owner has to do that. You would have to request a zoning change. So what I was trying to do, and possibly the mayor was trying to do, was find a temporary solution until that could happen, so that we can get you appropriately zoned, so that we can move that to the back of the building so it doesn't face a main thoroughfare, and it can still be open 24 hours, but you would have to apply for that zoning. And then we can make a concession for you and change that. So it's my understanding that's how that works, right, Mr. City Manager? Just clarifying. No? Why are you shaking your head? What?
Yes, there is right now, this Florida State Legislature has put a temporary pause on any government-initiated rezoning applications.
So we can't do it.
So the city cannot, and if we do, then it's illegal. So we have not been and cannot for another year do any city-initiated rezoning.
Okay.
So it has to come from the private property owner.
Okay. So if that is something that you are willing to do, you can put in an application to get the zoning changed. And then we up here as a council, along with our planning and zoning committee, will make the decision to make that change. In the meantime, however, that doesn't solve the issue because you're still not in compliance based on your current zoning. I did have a gentleman named Nicholas Stewart reach out to me, kind gentleman. He called me while I was in Washington, D.C. last week, and he said to me, Ms. Lastra, my company would be willing to donate $3,000 to enclose this if that's the issue. The problem is your zoning doesn't allow it. So temporarily, I even put this out on social media, if there is a business that has that C zoning for that part of Cape Coral, if they would offer to put your refrigerator there until we can get through that process. I put that out on social media, and I had maybe 2 gentlemen reach out to me, but they didn't have the appropriate zoning. So I'm not sure what the answer is, other than we need a temporary solution so that we can go through this process and get this fixed. No, you are not able to, but you're welcome to text me, email me, or after the meeting, I'll run down there. Okay. Let's see. And then I think that's it. Oh, wait. No, I think that's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Stein.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just just a couple things. It was kind of or stated that none of us care about taking care of the citizens, and that's not true. And so every year I contribute to the Cape Coral Caring Center. I contribute to Harry Chapin, and quite frankly, I knew nothing about your food pantry until it became a violation. I can't hold staff guilty of just following their job and code, but I certainly can be part of making changes and making accommodations, and I will commit to doing that. As we have, just because it doesn't necessarily happen in a meeting like this doesn't mean things aren't happening behind the scenes. And I meet with staff, as do 6 other of the remaining 7 every week. And we talk about these issues and we talk about potential solutions that's there. And so like Councilmember Laster said, we need to find a solution. We will find a solution. And so trust that at least that will be part of my meetings with staff. It's, where are we going with this? What other offers might we have had? What type of temporary relief can we give? Although we do have to treat everyone in the same zoning the same. We have to apply the same rules to everyone, but we also have to find a solution. And a great point was made tonight. What about the ice machines at convenience stores? What about the propane tank storage containers? So message heard. And it's certainly, call it ammunition if you want, that I can use as I talk about what solutions are possible with staff. To our student with the concerns about your classmate and friend, I feel more heartfelt. It pains me every time I watch that when I'm watching the news. There's safety options that are out there. They are very costly, although the cost of a life, what price? What I will tell you is I had lunch today with basically a transportation safety company, along with our city manager and with our director of transportation. And one of the things that they deal with is public safety as it relates to crosswalks, bicycle crossings, pedestrian walkways, walkovers, flyovers, roundabouts, and that was the topic of our discussion today. So our mobility plan includes techniques to calm traffic, provide greater safety at our intersections, and so that is in the works. So all I would ask is that when we bring these solutions, and by the way, they're in the audience tonight, so I'm glad they got to see firsthand the concern and the need for what we have. But what I would ask is when the solutions are brought forward and they cost money, understand that that's what we're asking for the money for. It's for those types of changes that will allow us to protect our citizens, our pedestrians, our bicycle riders, our scooter riders. And so there is action being taken in an effort to make those intersections safer. And that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilmember Lehman.
To the student who spoke, I had answered you in an email today. It's a horrible situation for what happened to your friend. And know that we are all very aware of it and want to do something about it. And we'll work on it. Also, Mr. Lamadou, you were rattling off a lot of costs and whatnot, and at the end you said J.C. Park. Would you please email me and give me what you're talking about? Because you lost me on that one. Thank you.
That means they were using one of you guys' card.
Please, no discussion.
No, I dealt with this.
All right, well, that's fine, but we're not going to deal with it now.
Can I talk to you?
After the meeting, yes, but you can't speak now.
It means that they use the card, your government card, and they would pay personal items.
Ma'am, I said we're not having that discussion now. If you want to have it after the meeting, we can.
I get paid to do this, so I can help you with it.
Yep. All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Councilmember Kadook.
Thank you, Mayor. To Ms. Lisette Follow, you can turn in anyone, 311. That is all. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, then let's move on to seeing, the only comment, I know you want to speak, Mr. City Manager. The only comment that I wanted to make, first of all, it's a tragedy with your friend and you know, I hope she recovers. I think it's also important to note that this was not an electronic bike, or I believe, my understanding, this was a regular non-powered scooter that this individual was on. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I was told. I think it's also worth mentioning, and I appreciate you coming tonight and speaking on her behalf, but this is something that we definitely, we're going to have to get the county involved with. This is a county roadway and a county intersection. So unfortunately, they're going to be the ones that will have to approve any modification and any change to that particular roadway. The 8 of us up here, we can advocate for it, but we're not the decision makers. So I just wanted to make sure you understood that. And then maybe that's something you could also do, is reach out to Commissioner Ruane. I have regular meetings with him about every 6 weeks. So I'll make sure I'll bring it up as well. But I just wanted to make sure that you do that as well. As far as the community fridge, you know, I think it's important to mention, and the city manager can elaborate a little more on this. I know the city manager and the city police chief, I believe, came down and met with you several months before this. First of all, I don't want to get in a two-way conversation. Okay. So this isn't something that just kind of popped up overnight. Yeah. I'm not even going to comment on it. Go ahead, Mr. City Manager. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. City Manager.
Thank you. I wanted to talk about the accident as well. That resident, the student emailed me last night, and I had an opportunity to speak with several of my staff members, as well as Lee County Department of Transportation. I have been advised by the county that there are no audible ADA devices there now. So if you're familiar with a signal that has an audible ADA device, it says it loudly projects weight. So they are going to be exploring adding that to that intersection because it has close proximity to the school, and there's a lot of children that do use it. So I think we've got some positive movement there, and as well as our police department and our communication staff are going to be looking at running some social media PSAs and some TV PSAs. We've gotten a grant before to put those together, and so we're going to look at rerunning those. And then I'm also going to put that student in contact with our one of our transportation or traffic engineers who might be able to assist her in looking at ways to not lobby, but see how the Florida Green Book design standards may be able to accommodate, depending on roadway traffic or geometric areas, how to accommodate some type of physical device, if that would even be acceptable. So, but I think it is important to allow her to try to explore that as an option that she wrote. So I'm going to put her in touch with our staff. As it relates to the building permit reviews, I would offer to the gentleman to look at the statistics from last year. I know there's a lot of issues with everybody that are thinking about 2023 and 20, the year after we implemented the system we have now. The following year, we had a hurricane, had 83 or 85,000 plus permits come through, which is the equivalent of 4 times annual volume. So if you think about that, you can't be the worst if you are able to run 4 times annual volume through in 1 year, right? So that those statements just, there's obviously something wrong with that. So what we did, we just put together a presentation. We gave that during the cow at the last meeting. 67% of all building permits, excluding push button permit. So push button permit is a permit where somebody says, I'm gonna fix a roof. You know, I have to do something minor. If you take those out, 67 of all submittals last year in calendar year 25 were approved on the first submittal. 67%, 2/3, greater than 2/3. 1/3 of those required multiple submittals. But our average number of reviews to get a permit is 3.24. So what that means is the 1/3 that are having an issue are skewing the data greater than the 2/3 that are getting it on the first pass. So that means there's an issue there. And so part of what I do every morning is I meet with staff. Any reviews that come in that are greater than 4, so greater than our average, we are opening those up and we are looking at them. Council, you all are aware, every day when I open one that is one of those, I send you the results. We have contractors performing unpermitted work. We have contractors submitting documents that are locked and then continue to submit them as locked. We have contractors who fail to address first submittals. And so it is becoming very apparent that the problem is not in the city of Cape Coral. The problem is with the contractors who are not submitting the appropriate documents or addressing the documents that are supposed to be submitted. And I send that to you all so that you all know exactly and you can see this. We are going to be working on some, in previous years, we held contractor education sessions where we went through the top 10 permit rejection comments, because if we're able to educate the contractors, then we're able to help them with their submittals. We have also put together permitting checklists. We have gotten great positive feedback from the permitting checklist. I've even been told that since that's been rolled out, there's one business that I know of that has not had a failed application completeness checklist. So we are making great strides. Our review times are all less than statutory deadlines. I know several of you have joined me in those meetings to see exactly how it's done. It is a commitment that not only myself, but my entire management team that's involved with IT, Public Works, Parks and Rec, Parks and Rec and Development Services is dedicated to. And we spend a half an hour to 45 minutes every single day doing this. So thank you.
Okay, let's move on to the next item on the agenda, which is item 11 is reports. And we will start with Councilmember Laster.
Thank you, Mayor. I know. I was like, oh, here we go. Washington, D.C., the Kids Youth Council spent last week in Washington, D.C. and had an incredible time. I want to thank Congressman Donald's office, Regional Director Mercedes, for helping to get the kids set up for an official Capitol tour, in addition to Ola Mahatmeth, who reached out to me and is a policy advisor for a congresswoman. And I'm super grateful that those two offices actually took the girls on an exclusive tour. Let's see. We have the.
If you would, please be quiet until you exit the chambers.
Thank you, Mayor. The girls, our youth council participated beautifully. They planned the roundtable discussions, and our chair led a roundtable discussion on affordable housing. You all will see their updates in their quarterly review, and we'll get an invitation to the thank you party that we will be having later on in April. I also wanted to thank Congressman Donalds. He put in a $3 million request for septic to sewer project, and I was able to meet with Senator Moody's office and Senator Scott's office to make sure that they were aware that this was coming through so that the Senate side could approve this as well. And let's see, attended the funeral for Judge Carlin and over the weekend. And let's see, I think that's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Lehman.
Yeah. First thing I would like to ask, I need to be excused for the April 1st council meeting. I will be voting by written proxy that I will submit to you on Friday.
Yeah, I've never heard of that, but I'll let the city attorney address that.
Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to submit you to participate.
And I'm not going to be able to participate. I will be out of the area.
You're unable, there is no legal mechanism for you to submit a written vote on anything that's going to come before the council.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, it's hard to hear, sorry.
There's no legal mechanism for you to submit a written response to any potential agenda item. It's not legally permissible. You could appear via remote.
All right.
But you're unable to submit how you're going to vote in advance of that. That'd be improper.
Oh, okay. All right, then
All
I
right.
guess I'm not, but I need to be excused for April 1st.
But if you're capable of appearing remotely, you have the ability to do that at this point.
Okay.
Or via telephone.
Okay.
If you want to vote by proxy, I'll take your vote.
All that's going to do is give you another no.
Yeah, well, two's better than one.
Okay, then beyond that, on April 6th, I went to the Joe Stonis ribbon cutting. Had my town hall on March 7th. My next one is May 2nd. Went on the 13th, went to the Dutch Boys ribbon cutting. Attended the Guardian Angels fashion show on the 14th and the VFW swearing in of the 99-year-old vet. On the 15th, went to the Seahawk Air Show. On the 16th, toured the Fleet buildings. On the 18th, went to the remote control cars races at Seahawk. On the 19th, went to the concert at Crystal Lake. On the 21st, I also met on the 20th, I met with the Dragon Boaters, the Dragon Boat Club and Parks and Rec to see what we could work out and compromise on. On the 21st, I went to the Celebration of Life for Judge Carlin. And on the 23rd, went to Catch the Vision. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Long.
No report.
Councilmember Steinke.
No report.
Councilmember Donnell.
Last week I had the opportunity to go to the MPO. It's pretty good information there. I also had the opportunity to go to the last Friday, the mayor's of the luncheon in Southwest Florida, and Mayor did a nice job. Nice job as usual. And I wanted to say the best for last. The Saturday before, I went to the fashion show for Special Pops. And I just tell you, Tyra Banks, get out of the way, all right? We have some new ones coming on. That was great. So thank you. It was just great to see everybody out there. That's all. Thank you.
Hey, Councilmember Kaduki.
Thank you, Mayor. Friday, March 13th, I attended the Horizon Council Executive Committee. Saturday, March 14th, I attended the 17th Annual Fashion Show at the Westin for Guardian Angels for Special Populations, which is a wonderful fundraiser for the Free to Be Smith Center, which is a city-owned and run park. Saturday, March 21st, I attended the Master Singers world premiere of their concert called The Witness, which is an original composition based on the Civil War diary of James Waxler. It was conducted by his great-great-grandson, and the featured tenor singer was his great-great-great-grandson, along with the rest of the Master Singers at Faith Presbyterian Church right here in Cape Coral. So it was very cool to have a world premiere right here in Cape. Sunday, March 22nd, I was invited to a fundraiser for CAN, which is the Cape Arts Network, Amy Ginsberg's home. And this is a newly formed nonprofit to help cultivate arts and culture here in Cape Coral, which I love. And Monday, March 23rd, I attended the 14th annual Catch the Vision put on by the Chamber of Commerce of Cape Coral, which was a wonderful event looking at the city's growth. Thank you.
Councilmember Kilrain.
Yeah, March 5th, I attended the Joe Stoner's river cutting. On March 9th, I attended the FLC webinar talking about the end of the session tax bills. And their end of session, I'll have a special session to do the tax, ad valorem tax. March 10th, I participated in a charter board meeting. March 11th, the CRA in Cal. Also that evening, I went to the Northwest Neighborhood Association meeting, and Mayor spoke at that meeting. Excellent attendance by that group, and they are very participative in all the city affairs. Very good action through them. March 12th, attended CCCIA meeting, and also the SW Southwest Cape Coral Association meeting, again with the mayor speaking there. March 13th, BMX State Finals, I stopped in there. Also participated in the Gathering of Eagles ceremony or show up in Festival Park. March 14th, attended Special Pops Fashion Show, followed by the World War II veteran 99th birthday at the Vets. Also went back to the Seahawks on the 7th. And just to note, the Seahawk group up there that does the model plane, they're the 7th largest club in the nation doing that. So we have a good presence that was attended by over 2,000 people both days. So they have a pretty good draw. On March, March 19th, the Southwest Florida League of Cities, Senator Martin spoke at that. We've got a lot of questions on the ad valorem tax issues. March 19th, Sandoval mayor made a presentation to Sandoval annual meeting there. Again, an excellent attendance at that meeting and great presentation. March 20th, participate in the MPO Collier Consolidated meeting. March 20th, had a tour of the Fleet Building, and again, it noted the really opportunity there that it's a must do for us. It's going to be one of those must deals where we have to get that building renewed in the other northern part of the city, get it out of the flood zone. March 21st, stopped there at the cardboard boat races hosted by the Rotary. March 23rd, went to Catch the Vision. And my town hall meeting is coming up this Saturday, 10 to noon at Cape Christian on Chiquita. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, for me, real quickly, on 3/6, attended the ribbon cutting at for the playground equipment at Joe Stoner's Park. I was a guest speaker on the Cape Coral Talk Radio on 3/9. On 3/11, I was a guest speaker at the Northwest Neighborhood Association general membership meeting. On 3/12, I was a guest speaker at the Southwest Community Association meeting. 3/13, I attended the Dutch Brothers Coffee ribbon cutting there on Del Prado Boulevard. 3/14, attended the 17th Annual Guardian Angels Fashion Show. Also on 3/14, I attended the Cape Coral BFW new member celebration for a 99-year-old World War II veteran. who I hope I'm as active as he is at 99. He got around like it was nothing. Attended the Southwest Florida League of Cities meeting on the 19th. Also on the 19th, I was a guest speaker at Sandoval Homeowners Association. And today I presented a proclamation for the PACE Center for Girls for Believing in Girls Month. So they do a phenomenal job here in Lee County. So I was glad to recognize them today. Mr. City Attorney, report.
Nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a high five highlight for tonight. I'm proud to share some outstanding news involving our officers and their impacts across Southwest Florida. Each year, Rotary South Lee County hosts a Law and Order Ball, a regional event in its 7th year that recognizes exceptional law enforcement professionals from agencies throughout our area. This year, we have 2 officers that have made it to the final. They're submitted to a panel. That panel looks at them individually and without knowing the names, and then moves them on to the final. And then there is an ultimate winner. Last year, one of our officers was Officer of the Year. This year, we have 2 advancing to the final. And I just want to say, to get that close, even year after year, just shows the outstanding dedication of our police department and the work that they do. So high five to all of them. I do also want to just, in closing, there was a statement made tonight about the confidentiality request of the flag donor. And I have an ethical responsibility when somebody asks that to do my best to maintain that request on behalf of the person who asked for it. So because it was a public records request for a document that is not protected under Florida statutes, I did release it. But I did make a call to the requester out of respect for the donor to let them know there is a request that you've seen asking for anonymity, and it's in your hands now. What do you want to do? You know, it's up to you to make the decision. And additionally, one of you all asked me for a copy of the agreement and the money. And out of respect for the donor, instead of just emailing you all like I typically do, I brought a hard copy down and hand delivered it. So, you know, I do have discretion. I am able to make judgment calls. And when somebody asks me for discretion, to utilize that discretion to keep their name anonymous, I'm going to do what I can to protect that individual. And so that's why I did call one of the speakers tonight and left a message with them, letting them know I wanted them to know what the request of the donor was. Thank you.
Councilmember Long.
Yeah, real quickly, I should address it during my report. I guess I'm looking for an opportunity to have council look at different ways. We've all got emails from most recently Slip Away with regards to the noise, but in the past there's been other instances of outdoor establishments that are dining that have created noise issues. And so what I've seen in just about every municipality that we don't have here, and it's not an issue, but as the problems persist, I feel like we should at least look into it. Is there are different ways to implement something in the code that would require a distance separation required for any new business that wants to do outdoor consumption of alcohol on premise within 500 feet of a church, a daycare, a school, a residential dwelling. And it doesn't necessarily outright prohibit it, but it is an extra step that they have to go through to come before either, depending on the municipality or county, the hearing examiner or the council, where council could then provide their input on each particular instance, rather than just a blanket approval of a table that says, hey, C1 allows for a restaurant and you're good to go, which admittedly is great for businesses. And I know that personally, and this is the only city or county I've encountered in the entire state that doesn't have this. But the other side of the coin is that we run into unfortunate situations where this council's bound to where we have people that are complaining about the noise that Slip Away, and sure, we have noise violations. But in an instance like whether we have a special exception or a special use, the council has an opportunity to look at that, to review the plans, to hear from the public, and then potentially modify to some extent or provide provisions or conditions on that particular use. So in this instance, maybe you can require that the speakers face away from the homes or the condos. This is just an example. So I don't know whether I need a second or whether we could just bring it up and have staff produce a couple different examples of the many municipalities that have it. But I figured, considering we've received several emails just this week about it, that I would at least present that as an option that we have available. So no matter what, it'll end up in a cow, but I know last time I asked for a second, it got a little convoluted and it went to a cow. And so if someone wants to give me a second, I'll work with the city attorney's office.
I'll give you a second.
If not,
unless,
staff
Mayor,
can-
you want it to go to a county, you prefer it.
It'll be there. So I'll tell you that here. No, that's fine. That wasn't a joke. We'll bring it before you guys. And they'll do a better job of explaining it than I did. But it's an option that we could at least look at to possibly have that in our toolbox moving forward so that we can hopefully avoid these issues in the future.
I'm on board with that. That'd be good.
Thank you. All right, I'll be bringing that forward here shortly.
Mayor, if I may, I have one thing too. Also.
Go down the line one more time, see if anybody's got anything.
Okay. I had someone bring up the opportunity to do the school bus light cameras on the charter school buses. And so maybe we can talk about it a little bit more. I don't know if I need a second to do it. We had some discussion on it in our one-on-one. I'm not sure where that's going, but maybe we could bring it up on the CAL in the future. So
I think it's a little more complicated than that, considering how the statutory provision is written right now. It require definitely a agreement with us and the school board, and then that there's a logistical component as well with it. The city manager's already commenced that process. I know even before he commenced that process, it was already examined. So we just have to kind of understand the logistics, get confirmation from the school board, because the big component is really revenue sharing.
Okay.
And then secondarily, because there is an appeal process of the violation as to who will be responsible for that. So there's a few things that are in play that we have to kind of iron out and figure that out before we can really have an intelligent conversation with you all.
Okay. Thank you.
What if we cannot get to a point where we can work out, right now, all the revenue goes to the county. The statute was written as if municipal charter schools didn't exist. We've seen that before. No, so if we can't figure out a way, if we implement them on our school buses to protect our kids, that the revenue from the violators come back to protect our kids, we may be finding that come next session, this is something that we're seeking to amend the bill for, if it's a municipal charter, that it fits into our traffic enforcement program.
Okay.
But we're going to seek to try and resolve it with the school district first.
Okay. I wanted to just make sure that conversation was out there. We did have that conversation to start it, so.
It sounds like you're going to bring us some more information once you kind of look at everything.
Once we really know where our limits are.
All right. Anybody else have anything? All righty. Time and place of future meeting. We have a regular meeting, Cape Coral City Council, scheduled for Wednesday, April 1st, 2026, beginning at 4 p.m. here in council chambers. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.